Beautiful night. The Yankees start another homestand, and maybe Alex hits his 600th here in the Bronx. Oh, boy, that stat will be worth a lot if he hits it tonight, as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees Baseball. It's the defending world champion New York Yankees against the Toronto Blue Jays in the first game of a three-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball. Along with Al Leiter, I'm Michael K. Yankees played a really good series in Tampa, but they lose 2 out of 3. Yesterday it was 3-0. And if you take a look at the American League East standings, it certainly tightened everything up. Yankees still have the best record in baseball, a game lead over the Rays, 6.5 over the Red Sox, and 12.5 over the Blue Jays. Remember, the Red Sox coming to town for 4 games starting on Friday. What does this all mean, Al? Is it going to be tight right through the end?
I think so. And at the end of the year, these teams are going to play right down to the end of September. The Yankees play the Red Sox in Boston. And I don't think there's a surprise here, Michael. I think Tampa Bay, right from the start, has shown they made teams look old. Certainly that series in Tampa was a very exciting one. Unfortunately for the Yankees, down 2-1. I think this will go right to the very end.
Let's take a look at the pitching matchup in tonight's game, and it's brought to you by a New York lottery. Brandon Morrow is going to go for the Blue Jays, 7-6, 4.62, and A.J. Burnett for the Yankees, 9-8 with a 4.52. Al, his last start in Cleveland, he pitched very well.
He did. For me, Michael, it's all about his curveball. When A.J. Burnett gets his curveball over for called strikes early in the count, it makes the hitters much more defensive. Then he is able to expand and get feeble hacks, short swings like Laporta just did there. A great play by A.J. Burnett. Went into the 7th inning, 7 strikeouts. We're going to watch early on if A.J.'s got his curveball going. If he does, it's going to be awfully tough on these Blue Jay hitters.
Look how much better he was in July than June. June was an awful month. 5 starts, 0-5, 11.35, and opponents hit .357 against him. But in July, boy, did he turn it around. 3-1, a great ERA, and opponents hit .242 against him. So A.J. Burnett against Morrow, and Morrow has to worry about Alex Rodriguez and all the other Yankees as well. Alex has been waiting on $5.99. Is it 600 tonight? We'll break down some of the frustrations of late next on segment 2. Pitch for the Yankees against the Blue Jays. That's Al Leiter. I'm Michael K. Now, the Yankees are trying to win games, and on the road trip, they did okay. They won 3 out of 4 against the Indians, and they lost 2 out of 3 against the Rays, but they were 4-3 on a 7-game road trip. Not too bad, but so much emphasis is being put on Alex Rodriguez's quest for 600. And to tell you the truth, he has not done that well of late. At first, the swing was okay, Al, but now you can see he's a little bit lost, and you can see the frustration building.
There's no question about it. As great as Alex Rodriguez is, he's going to get his 600th home run, and I think here he's talking to Kevin Long. He's arguing a little bit with some of the umpires. You start to press, and as good as a player as he is, he's starting to be in between. I think it's just a matter of him getting an opportunity early in the count. Maybe it's tonight. Clicking a fastball, see that ball driving to right center field. He's going to get it maybe tonight.
And, you know, he's in the lineup today. He was not in the starting lineup yesterday. He's hitting .237 since hitting his 599th, 9 for 38, 3 extra base hits, and 8 RBIs, which certainly is not that bad. But he wants to get this out of the way and just go to the purpose of winning every single day and not worry about hitting that home run. And maybe when he hits one, the others will start to come as well. Well, we had a pretty good pitching matchup. A.J. Burnett's on the mound. He's going to have to shut down Mr. Bautista. Yeah, a lot of home runs off that bat. Lineups, first pitch, baseball, coming up next right here on Yes. McDonald's. Head to McDonald's for a refreshing large sweet tea on the dollar menu. Price and participation may vary. By Raymore and Flanagan Furniture, furnishing your style with a guaranteed delivery of 3 days or less. And by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey. Please drink responsibly. Beautiful summer evening here in New York City, a Monday in the Bronx. Crowd filing into the stadium, the beginning of a homestand for the Yankees, and A.J. Burnett is on the mound. Let's take a look at the Blue Jays starting lineup that he's going to face. It's presented by Lexus. The Blue Jays coming in 54-41. They lead out their DH, Fred Lewis. Yunel Escobar, they got it for the Braves. He's a shortstop. He'll bat second. Batting third, playing right field, Jose Bautista with 32 home runs. Vernon Wells in center field will clean up. Batting fifth, the playing first base, Lyle Overbay. Aaron Hill, the second baseman, bat sixth. Batting seventh, the playing left field, Travis Snyder. Edwin Encarnacion, the third baseman, hits eighth. Batting ninth and catching, Jose Molina.
And on the mound, A.J. Burnett, 33-year-old right-hander. Coming off a good start against Cleveland. Really, last couple starts, he had a rain-shortened outing against Kansas City. There you see his numbers. A few too many hits per inning, 128 hits, 121 in the third innings, 92 strikeouts, 50 walks. Let's take a look at the pitcher's scatter report. It's always about his curveball. We said it in the open. Watch early on. If AJ's got a called strike curveball, he can expand easy, makes the game look a lot easier. Put him away. How about this? After 2 outs, 14 runs have scored after 2 outs. He ties Ben Sheets for the most in Major League Baseball. In August heat, 23-18. It's the most he's got career-wise in wins, tied, and also his lowest ERA of the month at 3.66.
Well, A.J. Burnett is ready. Fred Lewis is digging in, and he is ready. And let's do it here in the Bronx as A.J. Burnett winds, kicks, and deals. Pitches up and away, and we are underway. See what Lewis has done. .280 average, 7 homers and 30 runs batted in, 6 hits in his last 21 at-bats. And he swings at that one and lofts it to right center. Giving chase, Swisher, and he makes a nice running play for the first out of the game. Well, you just saw Nick Swisher's in right. Let's take a look at the Yankee defense, brought to you by Mercedes. Swisher in right, Granderson in center, and Gardner in left. Go the other way in the infield. A-Rod, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira third to first. The veteran Posada behind the plate, and Burnett is on the mound. It's a nice play by Swisher.
Very nice. How about that? Right off the bat, second pitch of the game. You've got to be on your horse. Nick Swisher on the full sprint. Nice play. All about warming up. There he is, giving the salute to the bleacher creatures.
Here's Yunel Escobar. Swings at the first pitch and pops it up. Posada has room, and he makes the play in front of the screen for the second out.
Well, getting a chance to talk about this Blue Jay lineup, leading baseball in home runs. Yunel Escobar was traded for Alex Gonzalez at the All-Star break. Good young-looking player from the Atlanta Braves. Speaking of good young-looking players, well, not young, but what a year Jose Bautista's having.
Well, the Blue Jays have the most home runs in baseball with 161. 91 of them have come at home. And there's a strike to Bautista. Bautista led all major leaguers with 11 home runs in July. So in a year where the power is down in baseball, Bautista's is up with 32 ribs, or 32 home runs. Grounded foul. He does not go the other way, Al. All of them to left or to center.
Yeah, I really find this pretty amazing. And it's career-wise, too. He's a pull hitter, but not to have one, even accidental, Michael. He's got the strength, a good fastball up and away, maybe just go right center field in a short porch. Stay away. I mean, that's glaring for me. His left-handed batting average against has been way down. Now, this is in Toronto. Now, this was a bomb. I think this was the fourth deck home run. Maybe this is it here, too, in one game. Both of them have fastball inner half he's been crushing. This team is aggressive. Cito Gaston, the manager, has really got these guys thinking about early in the count. You get a fastball, let it fly, and they've certainly shown it. And Michael just said, leading baseball in home runs. I don't know about you, Michael, but to think of Jose Bautista, and, here's a guy who's been around for a long time, 32 home runs, on pace for 50 home runs.
Don't get it. I don't get it. And the 0-2. Now the 161 home runs we said leads Major League Baseball. The next closest team is 24 behind. That's the Red Sox with 137. And they're playing at Fenway Park half their games. You saw what he did lifetime against Burnett, 3 for 4 with the 2 home runs in one game. Swing and a miss, and Burnett with a 1-2-3, 8-pitch first inning. So the Blue Jays go down in order. It's the Blue Jays nothing, and the New York Yankees coming to bat. And will bat 7. Batting 8th and playing center field, Curtis Granderson. And Brett Gardner, who did not start yesterday's game, he'll be in left field, and he's going to bat 9th.
Brandon Morrow on the mound for the Blue Jays. This is a good pickup. He was traded for Brandon League, a reliever. This is a nice season. He's got very good stuff. I think part of the reason why the Blue Jays are 4 games over 500 is not only him, but their starting rotation has been a bit of a surprise, I'd say, for baseball. Let's take a look at the pitcher scatter report. Dome Sweet Dome. Well, it's Rogers Center. How about this? 6-1 at home in Toronto, 3.25 ERA. 1-5 with a 6.23 on the road. Not good. Certainly those splits are bad. Ks per 9. He leads Major League Baseball with 9.96, almost 10 strikes per 9 innings. He's got great stuff, as I say, 95 or better with a good curveball and better movement. The Bruce Walton, the pitching coach, lowered his angle a little bit, make him more of a 3-quarter pitcher. He's got a little run and sink to it, much more difficult. While he was with Seattle as a reliever, it was much more 4-seam straight fastball.
Derek Jeter's ready. Derek was 6 for 28 on the Yankees' 7-game road trip. The Yankees were 4-3 on that trip, taking 3 out of 4 against Cleveland and 1 of 3 against Tampa Bay. And the pitch inside. 1-0. The home plate umpire is Mike Everett, so he'll be calling balls and strikes. Jeter has a very modest 4-game hitting streak. And now it's a modest 5-game hitting streak with a single right field. Take a look at the Blue Jays defensively, and this is brought to you by Mercedes. You've got Snyder, Wells, and Bautista left to right in the outfield. Infield, Encarnacion, Escobar, Hill, and Overbay. That's third to first. Molina behind the plate having a very good year, and then Brandon Morrow is on the mound.
You know, watching Derek Jeter get that base hit to right field, his home and away splits, Michael, home 315, away 237. On average, most major league hitters are more comfortable at home as any player, even the pitchers. I just said about Morrow's home and away split. His batting average against was 1 for 13 coming into this at bat against Morrow.
There's a strike to Nick Swisher. On the road trip, Nick was 8 for 28. He's had a very good season, an even 300, 20 homers, and 63 runs batted in. And they've moved him back to the number 2 slot in the lineup, as Joe Girardi trying to get comfortable where to put Berkman. Pitches inside. Berkman's first couple of games as a Yankee, he batted in the number 2 hole, which Nick had excelled in. Nick dropped lower in the lineup, but now back up top. And they're just trying to get a feel what works and what works where. And that's the fascinating part about baseball, because the lineup is so intricate. It's all interconnected. And, you know, managers spend nights staring at the ceiling, lying in bed. Where do I put this guy? How do I put... I mean, that's what you have to love about baseball. Why does he fit here? Why does he not fit there?
Michael, I could tell you when I was pitching, I would take the lineup as a whole and pitch around certain guys based on matchups. And it wasn't necessarily always the 3, 4, 5 guy, as you would assume. I mean, you know, maybe I'd match up better with the 4-hole hitter or 3-hole hitter. They do interconnect. There is definitely a rhyme or reason as to not only how a pitching staff pitches to a lineup, but where you place guys, protection or not. It's a great problem to have for the Yankees to figure out where to put Lance Berkman.
The 2-2. When Lance comes up, 7th batter on the line, we're going to get Al's scouting report, because it's one of the few active players that Al has actually faced. He's been retired a while.
Well, there's a guy standing at first base who wore me out, Derek Jeter. Yeah, he's from Alabama.
The 2-2. Driven deep to center field. Wells back. Still back. Looking up. See ya. A long home run. It's a Monument Park. A 2-run shot for Swisher. And the Yankees lead 2-0. Well, Swisher now has 21 home runs, and 13 of them have come in the 2-hole.
2-hole, 3-hole, 4-hole, I don't care which hole. This is a ball down the middle. He got a couple change-ups leading up to this fastball. It's comfort. This guy is comfortable. We talked earlier in the year. Kevin Long, the hitting coach, said he put the barrel of the bat on his shoulder. As you see there, gets set, foot down. This is a mistake out over the plate on a guy that's got a good fastball. See Vernon Wells, not enough real estate.
And there is a strike to Mark Teixeira. He's got a lot to be smiling about lately. 21 home runs, 65 runs batted in, hitting over 300, an all-star. Pitches high, 1-1. Let's take a look at the Coors Light cold hard glass now.
I just, when I look at the game and I think of baseball as a whole, so much is mental.
There's a ground ball to second.
And when you have a guy, and certainly all of these players, I respect them as major players, but very good.
Here's Alex. Everybody thought that when he left Yankee Stadium last Sunday, well, he's going to hit one home run on the road, and we didn't get a chance to see number 600 in the Bronx, but they had that opportunity now. Alex has gone 38 at-bats since his 599th home run. It was on a Thursday here at the stadium to right field against the Kansas City Royals. Alex did not start in yesterday's game. He pinch hit, he struck out, he's in the lineup, batting cleanup, 16 home runs, 85 runs batted in. Alex hitless in his last 9 at-bats, and on the road trip he was 3 for 25. Fly ball, right side, and out of play. Alex, you'll see, is going to be more aggressive because he actually quoted a stat to me where he said, you know what, 100 of my homers came on the first pitch. And then Posada was eavesdropping, and he said, you should be hitting until you take. He goes, but you take until you hit. He said it should be the other way around sometimes. Be more aggressive. So Alex swings at the first pitch there. Now when he takes inside. Well, this year he's hit a home run every 23.4 at bats. Last year it was 14.8. This year he's gone a stretch of 61 games or 61 at bats without a home run. So it's not that unusual. It's just a 38 at bat stretch. But because it's 599 to 600, we're all taking notice. And the 2-1. There's a ground ball up the middle. Escobar with a second out, and Alex now 39 at bats since his last home run.
Well, the conversation that you just said you overheard with Posada, anytime a batter, whether it's Alex Rodriguez or the 25th man on the roster, when you start not doubting, but when you go through the ebb and flow of a season, Michael, and hitters go with slumps and great streaks where they say they don't really know why they're hitting, they see the ball like a beach ball. Your better hitters are aggressive, and they're confident, and they're jumping on, as you say, whether it's fastball or curveball, slider. In that case, he got a first pitch slider. And I would say, I don't know whether Alex has admitted it or not, but he's got to be feeling it. I mean, now 10 going in the 11th game.
Well, he certainly knows what's going on. I don't think he's stressing.
Not stressing, but you want to get it over with.
I think in the last couple of games, though, Al, he's feeling it a little bit more because it's more a topic of conversation. But it's one of those things. He's getting it. It's just a matter of when he's going to get it. It's not like he's going to retire in a week and he's up against the clock. He's still got 7 years left on his contract. I think he's going to hit another home run. There's the 1-0 to Cano. 2-0.
No, but the sooner, for obvious reasons, the sooner, you're right, less questions, another bat, maybe another game.
Cano 6 for his last 15. Had a monster home run in Saturday's game that won the game at the Trop. His teammates were buzzing about it. When you could get professional ball players to buzz, forget about getting fans buzzing. When you get players to buzz about the length of a shot, and it was a big shot because it won a game, it was in the 9th inning against their closer, that was impressive.
Hit the back wall, didn't it?
It was so hard to tell. Every replay, one looked like it hit the back, another one looked like it might have bounced there, but it was in the general vicinity. The 2-1. Let's see if we can decipher off this replay out.
Well, I remember watching it live. It looks like it's got a little down and in, sweet nitro zone. Not only for Robinson Cano, a little one hop. Wow. As you say, even great hitters could marvel at one of their peers doing something special.
The 2-2. Laced down the left field line, but foul.
You know, that's the approach right there with Robinson Cano. The year that he's having it, you don't just accidentally bat 331 as he's coming into this at-bat. Fastball, Brandon Morrow goes right at him, and he's showing a swing that he's not afraid to go to left center. He covers the whole field. That breaking ball was up enough. Getting a hard line drive, just foul.
10 hits behind Josh Hamilton, tied with Suzuki for second place in the AL. The 2-2, swing and a miss. He got him. The ball was dropped by Molina, who gets an angle, and that will do it in this inning. Well, everybody's waiting for Alex to hit a home run. Instead, they got Nick Swisher. He hit one into Monument Park, a long shot, a 2-run home run. At the end of one, it's 2-0 Yankees. Rolodex 105 on Wednesday will be on Yes. Thursday's an off day, and then the Red Sox come to town. Friday night, Saturday at 4:10, Sunday night, and then a 2:05 start on Monday the 9th, 2:05, as the Yankees head to Texas after that, and then a 4-game set in Kansas City. Well, the Yankees have a 2-0 lead thanks to Nick Swisher. A.J. Burnett worked a 1-2-3, 8-pitch first inning. He deals to Vernon Wells. And the pitch is low, 1-0. The Blue Jays are 10-6 since the All-Star break. And they've won 6 of their last 9 overall. Driven out toward right field, giving Chase Swisher on the run, on the track, at the wall. See ya! A home run by Vernon Wells. He snakes it around the right field foul pole. A solo shot, and the Yankee lead is now 2-1.
Well, A.J. Burnett supplying the power up and away. Vernon Wells has been having a bit of a drought since dating back to June 28th. 105 at-bats, has had 1 home run in that span. Gets the fastball away, not trying to do a whole lot, stays on this baseball, and then it's just a matter of trying to get it right down the line here at Yankee Stadium. 314, the shortest distance going over the fence. Watch here. Let's see if it goes right over that 314.
Yep. Here's Lyle Overbay. Pitch is high. It's right over the camera. Second homer in 106 at-bats. Extends his hitting streak to 7 straight. Overbay fouls it off. 21 home runs is more than Wells has had in any season since 2006, when he had 32. And he has 24 against the Yankees, although he's a long way away from Manny Ramirez. And Alex has 28 as well, although he's not hitting any against the Yankees.
Well, Vernon Wells, Michael, you know this. It's been a health issue for him. He signed the big contract in 2006, a 7-year deal. Wrist, hamstring, multiple injuries. Coming into this year, he looked as though he was healthy.
Blue Jays look at that contract, though, as an albatross. They'd love to be able to do what they did with Alex Rios last year, put him on waivers, have somebody claim him and say, here, you can take him. And that's what happened with the White Sox. But he's owed so much money, there's no way anybody would risk putting a claim in. He still has, 4 years left on that deal?
Yes.
And it was just bad judgment by the Blue Jays, and also that's when the injury started to come and the wrist hurt, and his numbers are nowhere near what they were. So Overbay works a walk.
Yeah, but if you remember, Michael, Vernon Wells at that year, and I know it was timing was right. He had a great year, MVP-like numbers. J.P. Ricciardi, the old general manager, locked him up along with a few others. Lyle Overbay was one of them.
And the reason he locked him up is he wanted to send a message to the people in Toronto, we can keep our guys. And it turned out that it didn't work out. Here's Aaron Hill. Foul back. Aaron Hill has had nothing like the season people were expecting of him. 206. A far cry from the player that he was last year.
Oh, Michael, you said it. The second base, 36 home runs, 108 RBIs. He was a silver slugger for that position. It has been miserable for him this year.
Look at the drop-off for these two players. So Hill, 286, 36, 108, now 206. And Adam Lynn, 305 to 219. Amazing.
Yeah. That was major production, obviously lost, and they were counting on those two guys. For them to still be 4 games over 500 with two integral parts of their offense that just has been anemic. Better of late. Aaron Hill had some hamstring issue coming out early in April. Certainly when you're struggling with those numbers and the disparity. First half, less than 200 batting average.
The 2-1. Missed outside.
AJ threw a couple curveballs. And talking about AJ Burnett, and it is about his curveball. I believe. I think when he gets that over for a strike, he's able to expand, create some defensive mode mindset in these hitters.
3-1. Popped up. Behind the plate, now to play. Do they send Overbay on 3-2? No, they don't. And that one is rocketed through the left side of base hit. So Overbay stops, and Hill picks up a single, first and second, and nobody out. Let's look at the game time weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. It's a beautiful night, 79 degrees, humidity 47%. The wind is 13 miles an hour, and the forecast is partly cloudy. You bring nice weather with you, Al, you know?
You know, watching these weather forecasts, it's been really nice in the Northeast. Beautiful weather.
Here's Travis Snyder. Now, I know you spent some time with your family at Cape Cod. You get any grief from Red Sox fans?
No. You know what? Where I stayed at a place in Chatham. There's a lot of New Yorkers and people from down this area. It's a lovely area. Got a chance to watch some Cape Cod baseball, which I think if anybody gets a chance, it's the grassroots of this game. A lot of fun.
The 0-1. Nice block there by Posada. I've heard from a lot of scouts that that's the best place to scout players because they still use wood bats.
Well, there's several. I learned a lot, Michael. My son Jack was in the Orleans baseball camp and got friendly with the coach. But there's about 5 wood bat leagues for the college kids,
right? And
it leads up to kind of the major league of summer college ball, and it's Cape Cod. We'll go to Alaska. There's a Hawaiian league. There's a Northwest league. A lot of fun. Very, very neat experience. If you're all baseball fans, get a chance to go see that.
First and second, nobody out. 1-1 on Snyder. And the pitch. Breaking ball with no bite. Now Posada wants to go out and talk with AJ. Hey, Al, you think a cheap home run like the one Wells hit could sometimes set a pitcher back?
Yes, no doubt about it. You know, look, right field here at Yankee Stadium, it's always been that way, the old one, the new one. So you get a ball up out over the plate. A guy that's struggling in Vernon Wells, you're going to bear down on the lineup. Look at Jose Bautista, what he's doing. Give up it's a cheapie. No doubt about it. It's a home run. But that's the difference, Michael. Of just, you got to be able to just erase it. I know that's the hardest part of this game, is to just think about the next pitch. And it is. It's strength and weakness of a hitter. Execute the quality pitch.
And he steps off.
See, now this is a little cat mouse here. Now there's going to be a sequence of signs from Posada. Obviously, you don't want Lyle Overbay, the exact second base, to be able to pick up anything. He's going to change the signs as they do, or maybe already have a sign previously shown.
Swings and misses in the count 2-2.
Biggest thing that I always thought, Michael, with a runner at second base, you want to make sure that here, fastball away. See Posada setting up late enough to where a batter couldn't get the location from the runner at second base. Nice tailing, two-seam fastball. He's looking in whatever he can do to help out.
2-2. Strike three. Caught him looking at a fastball.
That's a beautiful setup right there. Two-seamer away, waves at it, and then this is a lock-up fastball. See a little run that comes back, belt tie, right exactly where you want to pitch a left-hander. Can't pull the trigger, Travis Snyder. Good pitch. This would be a great view right here. That little comeback at the very end is a reason why left-handed hitters either give up or can't pull the trigger. That's a belt tie, perfectly placed on the black fastball.
Here's Edwin Encarnacion. Swings at the first pitch and pops it up. Cano is there. They call the infield fly roll for the second out. And you know IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV, the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on YES. Here's Jose Molina, owner of a World Series ring, won with the Yankees last year, and the guy on the mound, he caught both of his World Series starts last year. The great start in Game 2, and then the subpar start in Game 5 in Philly. He was AJ's personal catcher in the second half. All of the Molina brothers have World Series rings.
That's right, yeah, the Angels.
Yadier with the Cardinals. He has another one with the Angels, and then so does Benji with the Angels.
Good guy. Got the chance to catch up with him, talk. You really like him up in Toronto, Michael. He's talking about how Cito's just kind of giving him a leadership role, talk to the younger players and impart that. Some of the pitching staff, Ricky Romero's very close, right next to him, locker with him. He's pitching tomorrow for the Blue Jays.
I almost think that Jose, and you see what he did with the Yankees those 3 seasons, he could be a manager one day. He's had that sort of baseball mind. And forever, he will be known as the man who hit the last home run at the old Yankee Stadium. The 0-2. Now, AJ liked Molina. He pitched to a 3.28 ERA with Molina behind the plate.
This is a bear down right here. I said in the scouting report, Michael, after 2 outs this year, AJ Burnett's 14 runs he's given up, tying Ben Sheets for the most in Major League Baseball. That is completely just bear down. You get two outs, you get the nice strikeout, you get the pop-up. Make your best pitch right here.
The 0-2. Ooh, just missed. AJ took a step toward the first base dugout. Tried to have that comeback, just missed though.
Now you see where Posada's setting up. That's what you do as a catcher with your head in an 0-2 count. Get off the plate. 3, 4, 5 inches.
1-2. Hit sharply right at Alex Rodriguez. He'll go the short way. They get the force on Aaron Hill, and that'll do it. But the Blue Jays get a run. Vernon Wells went the other way. The short porch and right. Not too far, but it counts for one. 2-1 Yanks. Text us at 58772. Standard text messaging rates apply. Your choices are 1 yes and 2 no. We ask you this question today because it was 31 years ago today, the tragic accident that took the life of Thurman Munson back in 1979. When Thurman would be 63 years old. He was born in 1947, and I truly believe that Thurman Munson would have ended up managing the Yankees. I mean, George Steinbrenner, the Yankee owner, had such respect for Munson and such a great baseball mind, but tragically passed away in a plane crash.
I know how close and how fond you are of this organization growing up in the Bronx, but every time I watch that game, man, I get choked up. I've seen it a bunch.
And that was our good buddy Bobby Mercer, who stepped up with 5 RBIs and won it the day they went to the funeral on August 6th. Lance Berkman on deck. The 2-0. 3-0.
Great. Just watching Posada, these at-bats. Nothing to take away what James Shields did yesterday in Tampa, talking to Kevin Long, that they were a little impatient yesterday, swinging a lot of the changeups out of the zone, as good pitchers do. Sometimes you tip your hat. But just watching how Jorge's just eyeballing, keyholing him, getting an opportunity to see release point. Brandon Morrow's where it's coming out. There's Kevin Long, the hitting coach. The Yankees historically have always done that so well.
A base hit for Posada on a 3-1 pitch. Now let's see how the crowd receives Lance Berkman in his first at bat as a Yankee at home.
Now batting for the Yankees, hitting 7th as they go here, the designated hitter, number 17, Lance Berkman, number 17.
Well, certainly not a rousing ovation from the stadium crowd. I guess they want to say earn it.
Thrill them now.
Wow. Pitch to Berkman's a strike. Now Lance against Al Leiter, 4 for 14. Didn't hit a home run, a double, a walk, 3 strikeouts. How did you pitch to Lance?
You know
Berkman?
what? I remember I almost don't like to say when I say a professional hitter, but this guy is a guy that will spray the ball over the whole entire field. Where you pitch him is where he hits it. When he is hot and feeling good, the ball will go from the left field foul line to the right field line. Very tough out, Michael. And like every hitter's, you go through the ebb and flow. He's had some injury troubles off and on the last few years. I see him as just good quality at bats. And really is a guy that is conscious of putting the ball in play. Great on base percentage.
Strike three. Berkman down looking. Now looking back at Mike Everett, the home plate ump. I think he thought that was too high.
Well, same pitch that A.J. Burnett got. Let's see if it is close to the same pitch. Oh, that's a little higher than what Travis Snyder got locked up on last inning. Now, folks, it's the letters to the knees. That looked like it actually was letter high. You know, the rule book says letter high. You don't normally see that high. This is a chance for Lance Berkman to tell Mike Everett, look, that ball is too high.
One on, one out. Here's Granderson. Pitch outside. 2-1 game. Both scores came on home runs. A 2-run shot by Nick Swisher and a solo shot by Vernon Wells. There's Nick, his 21st home run. And now Molina wants to talk with Morrow. Hey, this weekend, the Yankees host the Red Sox here in the Bronx, and yes, that's expanded coverage starting Friday at 6 with batting practice today, and then the pregame. Then after the game on My 9, turn back to Yes for the W.B. Mason postgame. And then Saturday and Sunday, get complete postgame coverage with Yankees extra innings right here on Yes. And then, of course, that series continues on Monday, and that start time is at 2 o'clock. So we'll be on at 1 with the BP show. 1:30 is the pregame, and then 2 o'clock game time. So a 4-game wraparound series. The 3-0. He walked him on 4 pitches, so the trip to the mound didn't work. And that'll put runners on first and second with 1 out for Brett Gardner.
Well, 3-0 count when you have Molina coming out. You probably saw something. He pushed a little change up there. You got Granderson, who's not having his best year. The lower part of the lineup, you try as a pitcher to really attack the lower half of the lineup. And again, the Yankee lineup isn't a typical lineup in baseball. Brett Gardner batting right at about 300, 295.
.412 against Toronto this year with 2 home runs and 6 runs batted in. Had a very nice season. He has 30 stolen bases and 36 attempts. He got a rare day off yesterday, but ended up playing the final couple of innings and left. They started Austin Kearns out in left field yesterday. Strike.
Pulled the string right there, Brandon Morrow, talking about the year that Brett Gardner's had. Michael, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that the fact that he was a guy that was maybe potentially talked about, not facing left-handers, especially the tough left-handers. What a year. He's even talking about it. He wants to get more opportunities. You talked about the 30 stolen bases to run more.
This is such a tough lineup for a guy to run a lot, because the last thing you want to do is make it out on the bases and take an opportunity for somebody to hit a home run away with somebody on base.
I agree, but Brett Gardner, there's certain guys that have good baseball running instincts, as I believe he's getting better as his experience, but he outruns the baseball. And you don't want to take away that aggressiveness. To your point, it's a great point. You don't want to run yourself out of an inning, but this is the guy, he could run and steal on most arms. Easily.
I asked Joe Girardi that. He said, I have never, ever put a red light on him. He said, I want him to run when he bats ninth. I want him to run when he bats first or second. He can run whenever he wants. He has my green light.
Good. He should. There's very few runners, players in the game that have his speed and his ability to steal bags.
Strike 3. Got him with an off-speed pitch. 3rd strikeout of the game for Morrow.
Well, Morrow got away with a little bit of a curveball here. This is a curveball where Gardner couldn't lock up, and now we've seen so far that Mike Everett has been calling the high pitch. This is a hanging curveball. Can't pull the trigger. That ball even looked higher than Lance Berkman's. These Yankee hitters are going to go back there, going underneath, looking at the footage and the video, looking at the slow replay. If this is going to be consistent on both sides, well, then both teams have to start realizing that they better swing at that letter high fastball or the pitch up in the zone.
If you're on the mound at this point, Al, are you then exploiting that?
Absolutely. No question about it. I'm gonna find out where the home plate umpire strike zone is, in, out, up, down, and attack it.
And the pitch to Jeter is low, 1-0.
See, now even there, that curveball ends up, Molina catches it low, but because of the break, that could have been a knee-high pitch. These are elevated pitches. Even right there, look at Molina, maybe even said, hey, come upstairs here. Now, the worst thing for hitters and pitchers, Michael, is that the plate moves. You have an umpire that is established. I'm going to call the high pitch. Don't move. If this is it, the hitters know, the pitchers know. Okay.
Count 2-1 to Jeter. Jeter singled and scored on Swisher's home run in the first. And the single, he just punched the ground ball through the right side.
Good approach, as Derek Jeter has done so often in his career, especially against a guy that he struggled against.
Moving up on the all-time list. Broke a tie with Harold Baines. And he's going to get 3,000 sometime next year. The most hits against any opponent, 270 against Toronto. He has not had any team where he has abused more than Toronto, 270.
Long time. What a player.
The 2-2. Grounded foul.
Now, this scenario right here, Brandon Morrow has done well against him up to that first base hit that he just poked to right field in his first at bat. The scenario set up because of Derek. He's waiting long and he's fighting off pitches to go right field. Let's see if Brandon Morrow ends up coming inside.
Swing and a miss. Got him. Breaking ball. Morrow strikes out the side. He has 4 strikeouts. No runs a hit. No errors and 2 left. We go to the third. 2-1 Yankees. And we rejoin Jack Curry down in the camera well, right near the Blue Jays dugout. And Jack, when I was coming up in journalism, my sports editors always told me, you want a good story, you talk to the parents. And that's what you did with Lance Berkman.
That was a great piece of advice, whoever gave you that, Michael, and I definitely have tried to follow that. I talked to Larry Berkman. He's an attorney in Texas. Very excited that his son is now a Yankee. But the thing I wanted to talk to him about was Berkman as a switch hitter. because Berkman had said that his dad really is the reason that he became a switch hitter. So here's the way it worked out, guys. Little Lance Berkman in the crib, throwing things out of the crib left-handed. So they're figuring he's going to be a left-handed hitter. But when his dad took him outside to try and play baseball, as Fred Lewis fouls him back there, as dad took him out to play baseball, he wanted to hit right-handed. So the father was a little disappointed, and after about a week, he said, you know what, I'm going to turn this kid into a switch hitter. And that's what he did. From the time Lance Berkman was 6 until he was 12, every league that he played in, he would hit right-handed in one at-bat and then left-handed in the next at-bat.
No matter who the pitcher was?
Didn't matter who the pitcher was, and as his dad pointed out, you don't see a lot of lefties. Sorry, Al, but you don't see a lot of lefties when you're 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. So he would switch, and he said the team would sometimes give him some grief, but that's the way the Berkman family wanted to do it.
Now, as with most children, sometimes children resist their parents' advice, even though it turns out to be right. Did little Lance ever say, no, I'm not doing this?
Larry said, Michael, not only did Lance not resist, he took it to another level. Larry would set up some tees in the garage, and every night Lance Berkman would take 50 swings right-handed, 50 swings left-handed. He was supposed to hit the ball into a net, but Larry said that he hit it with such force sometimes that he took out a wall.
Wow. Now, did Lance's dad like his son? I mean, everybody loves their kids. But did he like him? I mean, sometimes you don't like your kid.
Looks like we got a hit-by pitch there on the foot. Of course he liked him. He loved him. And what he did say is he had played at the University of Texas, and he was a left-handed hitter. And the thing that he realized, guys, is there are not a lot of people who make it far in baseball who throw lefty and bat righty. There are a few, but there are not a lot. He just wanted to give his kid every opportunity to take baseball as far as he could. He said he wasn't trying to build a little switch-hitting major league future player. He said he just wanted to give Lance as many opportunities as he could to go as far in baseball as he could.
You know what, Jack? I'm writing these notes down because I'm going to go right back to my 10-year-old son and start making him switch hit. This is great.
I tell you the story about him hitting off a tee in the garage, that reminds me of Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter did that in Kalamazoo, Michigan, in cold months. His dad and he set up a batting tee, a batting contraption, and I really found it interesting that he said he got Lance started, and then this 7- and 8-, 9-year-old kid would be out there every day hitting balls off a tee as well.
Now, we know that Lance Berkman and Austin Kearns and Kerry Wood, they all had their Yankee indoctrination on the road as Escobar shows bunt takes inside, but this is the first time they're stepping into the home clubhouse at Yankee Stadium. Were any of them just taken aback? Because that's an unbelievable clubhouse the Yankees have built.
A couple of funny lines from the pregame, Michael, about that. Lance Berkman said he needed a map to get around, and then Austin Kearns decided to modernize that description. He said he needed a GPS to get around. But I also noticed that Kerry Wood is very close to Mariano Rivera with where his locker is. And if you're the Yankees, you're hoping that those two guys stay close for the rest of the year, because if Wood is at his best as he can be, the Yankees would love to him to be in that 8th inning role in front of Mariano Rivera.
And Jack, you know, I heard you on the pregame with Bob Lorenz, and it's so true that the lockers aren't given out by accident. There's a lot of thought that goes into it, and they put people next to people for specific reasons, and we used to see that in the old clubhouse as well. So I guess he wants some of Mariano to rub off on Kerry Wood. And I'm not just saying clubhouse guy Robbie Kakuza, but I'm sure he talked it over with Joe Girardi where to put him.
No, there's no doubt about it, Michael, and there's something to it. And it was one of the first things I noticed when I saw Wood and where he was. The fact that he was so close to Mariano, it really jumped out at me.
Where'd they put you, Al, when you first came up?
I was next to Dave Righetti and Ron Guidry.
And there was a reason for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'll pop up there, Chucano. Well, good stuff. I mean, you didn't bother Mr. Berkman, did you? Is he watching the game on Yes?
You know what? I think he's watching the game, and I got to give you one last nugget, Michael. You'd think a dad of a major league player. Lance Berkman has over 300 career home runs. He's almost a 300 career hitter. I said, what do you think about your son being a Yankee? And he said, to tell you the truth, it scares me to death. He said it has never gotten easier to watch his son play Major League Baseball. He said from the first at-bat until that last at-bat we saw where Lance Berkman struck out, he said you feel it in your stomach, and Posada's going to try for a pickoff here, and he's going to be a little late. He said you feel it in your stomach. He said you can't do anything to help your kid, and whether your kid is 5 or 35, you want to be able to help them. And he said it's such a helpless feeling when you can't help your kid.
Well, great stuff, Jack. We'll hear you on the post-game show with Bob.
Thanks, guys.
And Mr. Berkman, calm down. We'll get you through it.
You know what? Because his dad played, I can only imagine how some of these dads and parents would go through every single bat. But I would think after all these years, seeing his boy in a World Series, an all-star and a great player.
But you know what? I've talked to guys that played in the big leagues and their sons, you know, in college, and they say it's much more pressurized than any of the biggest situation you were ever in, because you can control it. But when you're watching your kid, it takes your breath away because you want only good things for your child.
When you have no control of it. When you're playing, you realize the intensity of it, but you have something to do. You can actually perform.
Runner goes. Pitch is fouled away, and as Mr. Berkman could see, Lance seems very comfortable in the Yankees dugout. He seems happy.
Well, also, too, think of this. Here's a guy, he's a local guy in the Houston area, goes to Rice University in Houston, plays for the Astros. So, it's all been about Texas. Him, certainly Berkman wanting an opportunity to win. The Astros are definitely in rebuilding mode. Couldn't think of too many better places than being the pinstripes if you want to win.
Lewis is dancing out first, but the Yankees have kept him there so far. Bautista struck out against A.J. in the first inning, so now the count is 1-2. Yankees lead 2-1. We're in the top of the third. Runner goes. Throw to second is in time. What a throw by Posada. And a good tag by Cano, all in one motion.
Well, this is a tough. Let's see what kind of break. Freddie Lewis, good runner, looks in. The ball is a breaking ball down in the zone for Posada to be able to get the ball, come up quickly, and make a perfect throw. What is this? A one-hopper, feet underneath him, quick throw, and perfectly on the money. Cano doesn't even have to move his glove. What a play by Jorge Posada.
Here's the IOTV HD Super Shot, and Lewis was out. Wow. And we always talk about, well, that's a perfect pitch to throw him out on, and usually a pitch up in the zone with the catcher. Normally, it just naturally comes out of his crouch, but that was as tough a pitch to throw somebody out on.
I almost thought of Thurman Munson, a guy who got it done, kind of slung the ball. That ball being down and away, as you say, Michael. Just the quickness for Posada to realize he had to get the ball out of the glove.
Swing and a miss. Bautista down on strikes. So a great play by Posada. Opponents have been 26 for 30 in stolen bases against A.J. How about these partners right here? A.J. Burnett doesn't help his catchers. Throws one in the dirt. Posada gets up, fires to Cano, and then Cano makes a sweet, quick tag on Fred Lewis. Good partnership.
With perfect. Yeah, you couldn't place it better than that.
Got him right before the foot hit the bag. It'll be Nick Swisher, Mark Teixeira, and Alex Rodriguez here in the third. Yankees lead 2-1. Swisher with a 2-run home run in the first inning. And Morrow deals high. Hit sharply to first. Gobbled up there by Overbay and one away. 2-3-0, leading 1-2-0.
Hit it on the screws, Nick Swisher.
Here's Mark Teixeira. Mark on the road trip was 3 for 24. He had a very hot July, but finished it off a little bit cool. And now he's 1 for his last 16. Swings at that pitch and pops it up. The shortstop Escobar will make the play. And 2 out quickly. And there come the new baseballs. The ones that are marked up as Alex Rodriguez will come to the plate, sitting on 599 home runs. Now that is, those are fans, but their expectations are a bit high. That's about 550 feet away from where Alex is standing opposite field. Alex will take one that just scrapes over the wall right now.
And Vernon Wells down the right field line.
39 at bat since he hit 599. A-Rod's had 50 career home runs against Toronto. He's had 310 career solo home runs of his 599. And he has homered off 365 different pitchers. One of them is Morrow. He has 1 lifetime home run against him. There he takes a strike. And the flashes go off around the ballpark.
Little hanging breaking ball. Morrow threw the first pitch at his first at bat with a breaking ball off the plate. That ball. Right down the middle.
And the 0-1. 1-1. And it's hard to say that you're not thinking about hitting a home run. That's like saying don't pay attention to the pink elephant in the corner of the room. You know everybody's waiting for you to hit it. Is tonight the night? Count 2-1. It will be very interesting to see his reaction when he finally hits it. Will it be elation? Will it be just exhaustion? Relief? The 2-1. 3-1. Every pitch accompanied by lights going off all around the ballpark.
Good thing for digital photography, huh?
Now the crowd is booing as if Morrow's not giving A-Rod anything to hit. And the 3-1. 3-2.
He went after him there after the 3 breaking balls and one previous one to go 3-1. Attacked the zone inside part of the plate. Alex fouling it off of his front foot. Yes, Mo. Right.
Well, maybe now his mind will be on his toe and away from hitting the home run.
See that?
2-way here in the top of the third. Yankees lead 2-1. The story inside the story. Alex Rodriguez looking for home run number 600. And the 3-2. Foul back.
He's going after him. 96. He's late on it, but that ball was right down the middle. He's clicking a little bit sooner once this ball cut the plate in half. Boom. Put that foot down, throw your hands.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Morrow deals to A-Rod. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. Now 40 at bats since home run number 599. And the Yankees go down in order here in the third. All those flashes and nothing to show for it. 2-1. And the bottom of the third. Yankees still up 2-1. And Vernon Wells is going to lead off against A.J. Burnett. Wells with a home run leading off the second inning. And that time he gets moved off the plate. Fastball by A.J. Wells' home run went the other way, right down the right field line. Snaked it around the foul pole for his 21st home run. Grounded to Alex Rodriguez. One away. Now let's see how they won after Alex Rodriguez. We'll look at the pitch by pitch brought to you by Suzuki Kizashi.
Well, early in the count, Brendan Morrow gets a first pitch breaking ball. Now he's got two different breaking balls. You see the bigger one and the smaller one, changing his speeds. Then he comes inside, kind of stands up Alex, and then the breaking ball away gets in that 3-1 count. And then it's attack. Alex fouls it off his front foot, down the middle, just a little bit late. You see where Molina's setting up, right inside, 96-mile-an-hour fastball. He went right after Alex Rodriguez. Beautiful pitch by him. What a bat.
Hey, let's put it this way, and Alex is also given credit. The Indian pitchers, the Rays pitchers, none of them pitched around him. They all challenged him. Here, hit it, and he said, hey, that's what it's about. And the Indian pitchers, young pitchers, who don't want their name attached to 600, but they didn't want to not give him anything to hit. I think it's just good old country hardball. As Overbay grounds one up the middle, Jeter to Teixeira 2-away.
You know, Michael, and you can get caught up in that moment. There's no question about it. And the last thing a pitcher wants to do is feel his way through an at-bat and end up making a mistake, not with their best stuff.
Right.
He went after him.
Time for the New York State Smokers Quit Line Quiz here in the top of the fourth inning. Thurman Munson won the 1976 American League MVP award. Now the question is, who finished second? We'll find out in the bottom of the inning. Here's Aaron Hill. I'll tell you, Al, watching the pitch by pitch, I think the best pitch to hit out was the first pitch, the hanging break ball.
You know what? You wonder because at times most hitters will say that, you know, whether it's guessing or you sit on pitch, because of Morrow threw the first breaking ball in his first at bat, first pitch. Maybe he was looking at fastball because it was right there. You're right. Well, not a get me over, but certainly a strike breaking ball middle of the plate.
The 0-2. Popped up, right side. Giving chase to Teixeira. Cano. And it makes the seats. Teixeira lost sight of it.
Twilight. It's a tough sky when the sun's going down. It's not quite dark enough. He beelines it. Once he takes his eye off the ball, now he's trying to pick it up somewhere, get to the foul line or at least the seating. Where is it?
He's looking for the fans to help him out. The umpire didn't know either. And Rob Johnson saying it's a home run.
He's saying help him out.
Yeah, he's pointing at the sky. The 0-2. Grounded to Jeter. From the hole. The long throw. Got him. Another 8-pitch at bat for A.J. Burnett. 8-pitch inning. 1, 2, 3. The Blue Jays go down. We're at the bottom of the fourth. Now, the question is about Thurman Munson. He won the 76 American League MVP. Who finished second that year? George Brett. Robinson Cano lines one sharply to Overbay. One away. Can't hit it much harder than that. Those are the type of line drives that would really annoy Paul O'Neill.
Paul O'Neill or any hitter. You saw Nick Swisher's last at bat. It was a hard ground ball that Overbay ended up fielding. Part of the game. Hitters will say it never evens out. Pitchers say the same thing. It's part of it. Those swinging bunts end up being singles and hard line drives like that Robinson Cano just hit is that. That's what makes this game interesting, fun, and frustrating at the same time.
Well, that could describe you.
Interesting.
Interesting, fun, frustrating.
Where's the frustrating part?
I'll tell you that. Here's Posada, who's single to right in the second. Fouls it back. How about this since the All-Star break, Al? You like this. Blue Jay starters, and you see how Posada fouled this one off. Got Molina on the side of the hand. Blue Jay starters 9-3, 2.84 since the All-Star break. That's outstanding pitching.
And there's Bruce Walton, the pitching coach. They've had good starting pitching. Really, I think one of the big stories, Michael, for the year is Sean Markham. Guy had elbow surgery, comes back, really has been a stalwart of the rotation. Brandon Morrow, I believe this has been a great pickup. I think the upside for Brandon Morrow, it may be one of the best on the staff. Ricky Romero has been very good. Young left-handed pitcher we're going to see. Brett Cecil's getting a little more confidence out of his manager, Cito Gaston. Just letting these guys pitch and do their thing.
Posada whacks one to left center field. That is going to be trouble. Giving chase as Wells. He won't get there, and it bounces into the Blue Jay bullpen for a double. Posada's 2 for 2.
Well, Posada's 16th double on the year. This is a little backup slider. Jorge's first at bat, he saw some pitches, got in a good count, ended up getting the base hit. Now going the other way on a breaking ball. This is where pitchers on a staff or even in baseball, they know when a guy is feeling good at the plate. Certainly Posada, these 2 at bats has shown that. Going the other way nicely through the ground rule double. Vernon Wells sticking his hands up. I was talking, Michael, to Kevin Long, and he was saying that Posada was getting, I guess, some line drive outs on this road trip, and got the element of getting a little frustrated.
Pitch to Berkman is a strike. Posada with his 14th multi-hit game. Well, on the road trip, he was 3 for 15 now, and 1 for his last 9, so he was getting a bit frustrated.
Brandon Morrow coming up with a little bit of a cut fastball. Starting to use more of his pitches early on, just fastball, curveball. Overthrown changeup.
Berkman struck out, looking in the second inning. Has 1 hit as a Yankee. He was in yesterday's game. Line drive to right field in front of Gabe Kapler. Switch hitter batting from the left side against the righty Morrow. Popped him up. And Escobar makes the play for the second out.
He's got inside enough. Now Brandon Morrow showing enough different looks, the variations of speed and location, and that ball got in on the hands of Lance Berkman. This ball, Jose Molina setting up inside, actually leaks out over, but that ball up in the end. Mentioned earlier in the game, Mike Everett was calling those pitches for a strike. Lance Berkman was a product of being called out on strike 3 in his first at bat with a similar pitch. That's part of that element, Michael. You said, do pitchers, hitters, do they recognize that? Absolutely. When you know when there's a certain strike zone, you end up having to swing at pitches that maybe are eventually balls.
Here's Granderson, and there's a strike. fouled away and count 0-2. Morrow does attack the strike zone. Lifetime against the Yankees, 1-0, 4.03. Since the beginning of June, 3-2, 3.21. So his ERA would start it at 4.62, coming down. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. And Granderson down on strike. So the double by Posada is wasted. Let's go to the fifth. It's 2-1 Yankees. Take the Yankees with you. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Yankees game live or on demand on your computer. Visit Yankees.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Bottom third of the order for the Yankees as they lead 2-1. As we go to the top of the fifth, Travis Snyder against A.J. Burnett. Burnett really struggled in one inning. Every other inning, he's worked the minimum 3 batters. He struggled in the second. He gave up a cheapy home run to Vernon Wells, then walked over Bay, a single to Aaron Hill, but began to come back against Snyder. He struck him out looking, popped up Encarnacion, and got Molina to ground out. And that's really the only struggles he had in the second inning. 55 pitches, so he's good pitch count-wise.
Well, just watching these Blue Jay hitters, and they are an aggressive team. Cito Gaston, Dwayne Murphy, the hitting coach. It's by design. You get a good pitch, you let it rip. Travis Snyder, good, young-looking player. Ended up hurting his forearm earlier in the year. There's been an injury issue with him. And as you say, Michael, AJ is really just attacking the zone, his fastball.
The 1-2. That one is ripped into right center field. It's going to be trouble. And off the base of the wall, fielded out there by Granderson. And Snyder will stop at second with a leadoff double.
Snyder getting a breaking ball here. 3 fastballs and then a backdoor slider. He's out in front, but just shows you how strong this young man is. And Travis Snyder, he's fooled. He's out in front. The barrel of the bat stays back with a little bat lag and is able to drive it 1 hop off the wall. It's his 11th double of the year. Once it gets in the gap there, it's just a matter of Granderson getting a nice little carom, throwing it in. Good hitting.
Breaking ball is outside to Encarnacion. Encarnacion's had an interesting year. He was actually designated for assignment and then went down to the minor leagues with the Blue Jays, and then they brought him back up. Playing a lot better since he was brought up.
You know, there's certain guys that get a label or a rap, Michael, and this was an article in the Toronto Star where if you Google searched Edwin Encarnacion and lack of hustle, he got like a bunch of hits for that, like 400 hits or something. And he had a bad play recently in their last road trip, and came to Brian Butterfield, their infield instructor, said, "Look, I want to come out and get some extra ball, extra work."
That one's drilled deep to left field. There it goes. See ya. A long home run for Encarnacion, and the Blue Jays take a 3-2 lead.
Oh, extra work, infield or not, and here's a guy that coming over from the Cincinnati Reds for Scott Rowland. Gets all of this. I mean, this ball is well struck. 11th home run on the year. Fastball running on the inside part of the plate. Clears his hip. Wow. The ball was hit hard. Look at the simple neck.
It was Molina. That home run, it's the second home run that Burnett has allowed today. He had surrendered just one home run in his previous 6 starts. So what was the outcome of that?
Well, the outcome is that, you know, talking to Brian Butterfield and people around this team, you say, you know, does it associate with his personality? And certain guys, you know, just have a certain demeanor and disposition that looks lackadaisical. And you know, you can draw your own conclusion as to whether is he trying, is he not trying. You know, the conclusion here in this scenario was that, you know, this guy, he realized that he had, you know, an error or a mistake. He ends up working hard. It wasn't a matter of Brian Butterfield saying, "Hey, get out of here at 2 o'clock." He went to him and said, "Look, I need to work on ABC, whatever it is." Labels are hard to shake, you know, certainly in this game or any sport.
The 0-2. I used to have to battle this all the time, Al, on my radio show about Cano. That's how people felt about Cano, because he does everything and makes it look so easy. Doesn't ever seem like he's hurrying. And I would say this guy's out early with Alex Rodriguez at 1 o'clock for a night game, working out, working with a medicine ball. You might look like you're just going through the motions, but he has a burning desire. Maybe that's what Encarnacion's going. Now no one says. He doesn't play any harder, doesn't look like he's hurrying anymore, but now he's great. So it's all about perception.
Yeah, perception and also the result. You're right. I mean, Robinson Cano, he's a great player. He's going to have a great career. Personalities, you know, different people do it in different ways, obviously.
I mean, all you would hear, he doesn't hustle. He doesn't like he's trying out there. Well, the coaching staff thinks he's trying. And now the numbers back it up. And Molina walks. And that'll bring out Dave Island. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. You know, we've brought this point up before, and we showed this in the open of the broadcast. AJ's numbers in June were terrible, and in July they were excellent. And the only difference is that Dave Island wasn't with the team in June, and he returned right at the end of June. Any correlation between his effectiveness and Dave being back?
Sure. You know, certainly nothing against Mike Harkey or whoever. There are certain pitching coaches that can relate to the personality and also a key word or two to help a pitcher get back on track. And certainly Island has that relationship with A.J. Burnett. And whether it's a key to whatever Dave Island says about his front hip, trying to get A.J. Burnett to be less side to side and more north and south, whether that's drive his front hit, allow him to stay on the backside, finish your pitch. You know, there's a comfort to that, Michael, to a coach that can explain to you and you say, yes, I get it. Now, it might have been explained, you know, the message was the same. It's just how it comes across and how you relate to it. I don't think it's coincidental. I mean, his ERA was 11 plus in June.
The 2-0. There's a strike.
You know, this is one of those games. You know, cruising along, you're winning 2-1. You have a very good home run hitting team, as we said. The Blue Jays leading baseball in home runs. Just continue to bear down. Your pitch count is still reasonable at 71. Get outs. You
Count 2-2.
As opposed to the obvious, Michael, you know, when you implode and, you know, maybe you allow something, you know, you mentioned earlier in the game with Vernon Wells' home run, could that bother you? Yeah, it could bother you. You know, if you allow it to and it escalate into several pitches later.
So Joe Mitre getting loose. With 2-2. So we mentioned, other than the second, he was pitching very well, but running into trouble here in the fifth.
No, but when you think of that trouble, Travis Snyder reaches out with a little breaking ball. He's ahead, AJ is, and just flicks it to right field strong enough. Makes a mistake with a fastball to Encarnacion. You know, there's your 2 runs. No question about it. You're down 3-2 now. You're not pitching terrible. Just keep making pitches.
2-2. Grounded inside third. Bounces off the wall and then has to make. Oh, it could not be made by Gardner. So an extra base hit for Lewis, and that allows Molina to go to third. A funky hop off that wall there down the left field line, and only a diving stab by Gardner kept it from being disastrous.
Well, now let's see again. This is either good hitting or lucky. Stays on the inside part of the third base line. Now watch this kick here. Michael said Gardner ends up going after it aggressively. The ball hitting on that carom. It's angled here at Yankee Stadium. It looked like Molina wasn't going to go to third base, or at least he was being very cautious. Slow-mo. Double for Fred Lewis.
Still nobody out, and the Yankees have 3 infielders back. Only Mark Teixeira is up for the righty swinging Escobar. Escobar was traded for Gonzalez. Gonzalez is the more finished player, but Escobar has a huge upside. But the Braves are trying to win right now, so they went with the veteran and gave up Escobar. Foul back.
You know, it's interesting. In certain places where players, you know, either wear out their welcome, but apparently he was a guy that, you know, Bobby Cox had reprimanded for not running balls out. And, you know, some of the guys in the clubhouse were mentioned that, you know, whatever his behavior wasn't part of the Brave way. But talking to the guys around the Blue Jays, he couldn't be more exemplary right now. Playing the game hard.
The 1-1. There's a ground ball to A-Rod. He's coming home. And they get Molina. Well, you really don't have to bring the infield that far in from Molina because it just doesn't have speed.
Well, they're going on contact. Well, he really wasn't. If you look at that replay right there, Molina was not going on contact. Great decision for Alex Rodriguez. I don't know whether he noticed Molina was not going on contact. With the speed of Molina, easily getting him out. It's just a matter of Alex making a good throw. See on the Yesmo, easily getting him. Posada making the tag.
How's it possible, Al, that Fred Lewis doesn't go to third?
That's bad base running, Michael. Once he gets his secondary lead and he sees the decision where Alex ends up throwing, obviously trying to get the runner out at home plate, that's the decision and the priority for the Yankees.
There's a breaking ball strike to Bautista. And Mitre starting to throw now in the bullpen. 78 pitches for Burnett. 3-2 Blue Jays lead. Yankees trying to keep it right here. The 0-1. That one is lined to left field, giving chases Gardner. It's over his head and up against the wall. Lewis scores. Here comes Escobar. He will score. It's a 2-run double for Bautista, and the Blue Jays lead 5-2.
Bryant A.J. Burnett ends up striking out Batista in his first 2 at-bats. He's a great fastball hitter. We're talking about leading baseball. This ball was supposed to be in the outside part of the plate. Seeing the ball leaks middle in. Here's a guy we show that he has all of his home runs. He's a pull hitter. Just a perfect location as far as Batista's concerned. A.J. Burnett missed. His 25th double of the year, 82 RBIs.
Vernon Wells rockets one past a diving A-Rod and down the left field line. Here comes Bautista. Here's the throw. He's in there. It's an RBI double for Wells, and now the Blue Jays lead 6-2. Now going to check to see if Mitre is fully warm.
Brett Gardner making sure he gets the ball. I thought a firm throw comes up the line a little bit. Batista coming inside, seeing the reaction of where Posada was, getting his hand in. See him cutting across from the outside part of the plate. The throw from Gardner pushing Posada toward the outside foul line. Good running by Batista. Make that decision, a late decision, Michael.
Here's Overbay. Still one out. Swings at a breaking ball. Now, with the 5 runs here in the 5th and the 6 runs overall, that's as many as AJ has allowed in all of July here in his first start in August. So AJ, who looked so good and had such great command of the curveball in Cleveland, not so much today.
Well, he's not throwing it as much as he did in Cleveland, Michael. And I think that's part of the frustration of what transpires when you don't get your secondary pitch over, not only for put-away at-bats, but early in the count, as we were talking. And most of the time, A.J. Burnett's success, dominant success, is based on his curveball.
The 0-1. 1-1. And the pitch outside the 2-1.
As you know, I have him down for 19 curveballs, give or take, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate. One of the pitches looked more like a slider. He's throwing one changeup, Michael, and of those 19 curveballs, 5 of them to Jose Molina.
This will be his 30th pitch of this inning. The 2-1. Strike.
There's his second changeup. You know, that's what happens when and I can relate, because I threw a lot of cutters and I threw a lot of pitches. I walked a lot of guys. But when you have the 2-pitch scenario and you end up having to resort to your third pitch, in this case, he just threw a changeup, it becomes an emergency kind of desperate situation as opposed to it being part of your repertoire, as he did in Cleveland in his last start. You know, early in the count, bang, get your curveball out, strike, expand, get the hitters thinking, hey, he's got his curveball for strikes. You know, then they start swinging at pitches in the dirt, or however you want to expand high fastball.
Now a 3-2 count on Overbay. Runner at second with 1 out. 5 runs already in, and the Blue Jays have turned a 2-1 deficit into a 6-2 lead. Swing and a miss. Got him. Second out.
That's a beautiful pitch. He came with a changeup. 2 changeups in this bat. All off speed. Didn't throw 1 fastball. 4 curveballs and 2 changeups. 3-2 changeup, no less. That's a high pitch count. 32 pitches in an inning. And I think really that to me, I look for more of the laboring innings where you end up having high pitch counts. Obviously 32 is a very high pitch count inning. On average, Major League pitchers 15 to 20 max. Comfortably. You know, of course, AJ had a few innings earlier this part of this game. He had an 8-pitch inning twice. And you just get where you break down. You break down physically, where it's hard to repeat your delivery and be consistent when your pitch count gets up to, in this case, 33 pitches.
Aaron Hill, the 9th J to come to the plate. Fouls it away.
And it's not easy, folks. There's a lot of people trying to get to this level, and it's a constant battle of adjustments. Even at this level, as great as these players are, you're always working, you're tinkering, you're trying different things.
That one goes past Posada and allows Vernon Wells to go to third. Crowd getting very, very restless. I'm sure the Yankee coaching staff isn't thrilled either.
Looks like a changeup to me, Michael. He just kind of yanks it. Yeah, I see that ball with a changeup spin. He throws that 58-foot changeup. Hooks it across his body.
Two one, outside, 3-1. This would likely be his last batter. You know that Mitre is ready, and with the high pitch count this inning alone. Three-1. Vernon Wells leads off third. 2 outs, 3-2 count on Aaron Hill. And the pitch. About to do it again.
You can see even on the radar gun that on yesterday, 92, 94. This is varied speeds that sometimes is by design and others it's not. This changeup is a hard changeup at 89. These are two-seam fastballs, middle of the plate. Aaron Hill, who's struggling this year, hasn't been nearly what he was, a 208 hitter. This is a scenario where you attack this guy. Obviously, you're down by 4 runs. Keep it where it is. Attack the zone with your best fastball.
He's about to throw his 40th pitch, and now you've always told me that pitchers are usually trained for 15 to 20 an inning, so he's probably really fatigued right now.
You are. It's hard. And I relate it, Michael, to a boxer. You have a minute and a half round, and all of a sudden, the 8th round, the referee comes out and says, "Okay, fellas, 3-minute round." Huh? How do you maintain the integrity of what you're trying to do? And that's the difficult part when you get a high pitch count in it.
3-2. So Hill's making him work even harder.
Well, Hill just helped him out by swinging at a ball right there. That ball would have been ball 4.
And the pitch. Grounded past the diving A-Rod and down the left field line. Wells scores. Hill's going to second. He will make it with an RBI double. And it's the Blue Jays 7 and the Yankees 2. And Joe Girardi has seen enough. And so has the crowd. It all goes wrong for AJ here in the 5th.
Yeah, it certainly did, Michael. Giving up the 5 spot now, 6 spot. Rough inning for AJ Burnett. Tough night.
So AJ departs. Gets a little bit of a Bronx cheer as he leaves the mound. The Yankees go to the bullpen. They've got some ground to make up. Stay right where you are. Well, after 41 pitches, Joe Girardi makes the call to the bullpen. Brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible. And that call to the bullpen brings us Sergio Mitre. 14 games, 0-2, 3.73, 24 hits and 31 in the third, 11 walks and 19 strikeouts. Al, I know there's no easy answer to this, but AJ's 33 years old, and how could it be that he could look so great one game and just so dreadful the next?
God-given arm, God-given ability. He's possessed that since he was a young kid out of Arkansas. Came through the minor leagues with the Mets, traded to the Marlins, goes to Toronto. It's very frustrating. Great guy. The scenario, as you say, with 33,
yeah.
You know, at some point, you start realizing, okay, what else do I have to do to maintain, not just to be a major league pitcher, but a great major league pitcher. He still maintains that stuff.
But he works hard, Al.
No, I'm not
He's
saying...
He's a hard worker. I don't understand how it doesn't translate.
I'm not saying about working, running, and weightlifting and all that, looking at video. I'm saying part of your repertoire, if you're a guy that has been a two-pitch pitcher, and he has, 95 or better, you know, certainly through the majority of his career with a curveball that's nearly unhittable.
That one is driven into left center field. A long drive, giving Chase Granderson. He can't get there. It's one hop up against the wall. Scoring is Hill. Travis Snyder, his second double of the inning, and the Blue Jays now lead 8-2.
I agree. Sergio Mitre, 2 doubles in the inning. Awfully good inning for Travis Snyder. This is just, you know, one of those innings, especially and the opposing hitters, Michael. It's just, you know, keep the line moving in the sense for what Toronto's thinking. This is an opportunity, Mitre, certainly to get out of this inning.
Here's Encarnacion. He homered earlier in the inning. Have you ever seen it click in as late as 33, 34?
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of, yes, because it's part of how you evolve as a pitcher. Because your stuff isn't the same as it is when you're 23 or 27 or when you get to 33. It changes, it evolves. That's when you introduce another pitch, change speeds on your breaking ball, realize how important it is to get your breaking ball over for called strikes so you can expand. Don't throw emergency changeups because you have to. Introduce it early part of the game as a pitch that you're going to use. It's part of your repertoire.
That one is drilled to left field, and Gardner makes the play. Shoestring catch for the final out of the inning. It's all Blue Jays as it goes 7 runs here in the 5th. We're halfway through. Blue Jays 8, Yankees 2. from which they have to climb out. Bottom of the 5th inning, so there's plenty of time. And Brandon Morrow has to feel good about things as he will start with Brett Gardner. Breaking ball strike. The top of the 5th inning took 26 minutes. The 8 earned runs allowed by A.J. Burnett matches his worst start of the year, and he did it in 4 2/3 innings. The 0-1. 1-1. Mindset of a pitcher change here, or he's still at the pitcher game?
Yeah, it changes a little bit. Yeah, certainly you have all the respect in the world for a very good hitting team in the Yankees. But when you're in a situation where maybe you're 2-0-2 on count, fastball count, you're not as concerned with having to hit the corner. You're going to be a little more aggressive and hit more part of the white part of the plate. Not to say you want to give up hits and home runs, but you definitely do not want to walk guys in a situation where your offense gets 7 runs, you're up by 6, attack the zone. And the Yankee hitters should know that. They do.
The 7 runs allowed by the Yankees in the top of the 5th. That ties their single inning season high. And it was also done May 29th against Cleveland in the 7th inning. So Gardner's worked the count 3-1. How about that? He throws a breaking ball on a 3-1 count.
You know what, Michael? I think that was a little BP fastball. Or a changeup.
Over?
I can't imagine 3-1 count he's throwing a changeup. He's only thrown 4 of them before that pitch.
Strike 3. So Gardner down looking for the 2nd time tonight. Time for another look at tonight's Toyota text poll. Once again, the question, should Thurman Munson be in the Hall of Fame? You've been voting at 58-772, and here is how you voted. A landslide says yes, 93%, no, 7%. I guess the general feeling from writers that I've spoken to that have the vote, if he had played a couple more years, maybe. He has representative numbers for sure, but doesn't look like it's going to happen. I think at this point it would have to be a veterans. It would have to be a veterans committee vote. 7-time All-Star, won the MVP in '76, 3 Gold Gloves, Rookie of the Year in '70, and he was a 2-time world champion in '77 and '78. There's a base hit for Jeter, and in the '76 series where the Yankees got swept by the Reds, I think he hit over 500 in that series. Thurman died 31 years ago today, and he was the captain of the Yankees. Kid from Ohio, gutty, gritty, played through pain, did everything you wanted to do, a real leader on that team, and was there through the bad times and then enjoyed the great times in '77 and '78. Here's Nick Swisher. 2-run home run in the 1st inning, grounded out sharply to first base in the 3rd. Jeter's 2 for 3, his 38th multi-hit game of the year. High drive, right field. Going back Bautista. He's on the track. He's at the wall. He makes the play. So Bautista used up all of the real estate and hauled it in.
Boy, good swing, just got underneath it just enough for Swisher not to be able to get it out of the ballpark here. High fastball up out of the plate, just hoping that ball would get over that Merrill Lynch sign there, right to the wall.
Now, Cito Gaston came out to talk with Morrow there, now leaving the mound. He's 1 out away from qualifying for a win. Maybe the veteran manager did not like what he saw to Jeter and Swisher.
Be aggressive. I could, that somewhere along that conversation from Cito Gaston is, look, you have that big lead. Don't start guiding the ball and aiming it. And also continue to pitch, which is, as you said earlier this inning, Michael, do you change the way you pitch? And some cases, unfortunately, you do because of the big lead or a lot of runs that you just got. And that pitch there, he's been maintaining low 90s. That's not a changeup. That's a fastball that he's just aiming, guiding.
Don't you slow down your arm speed for that? If it's not a change?
You know,
doesn't the batter pick that up?
If you do it purposely, you could throw. David Cohen had a great, what you'd call a fosh. You just choke your fastball and don't throw it as hard.
That one is driven deep to right. Going back, Bautista looking up. See ya! 2-run home run to Shera. Yankees now trail 8-4. Whatever Cito said, it didn't work. 22nd home run for Teixeira. As the Yankees creep back in.
Well, he got a 2-0 fastball, something where Teixeira knows he's got to get into the count. We're talking about how he just got a 6-run lead. Putting that back now 8-4. Nice approach. Good swing from Mark Teixeira. He has been swinging better of late. Nice approach.
All right, here's Alex Rodriguez. 0 for 2 tonight, grounded to short, and struck out. He's gone 40 at-bats since home run number 599, trying to join an exclusive club. Only 6 men have hit over 600 home runs in big league history. He's trying to become number 7, and he takes a pitch outside 1-0. Crowd with a "Let's Go A-Rod" chant. And the 1-0. Foul back. He's had 1 home run against Morrow, and this is when Morrow was with Seattle. And it was at the old Yankee Stadium in 2007. Does he have number 2 in him, which would be number 600? The 1-1. Driven the other way. Crowd is agonizing over every swing. A pop-up, they think it's going out. A foul ball, they think is going fair. They are certainly behind their third baseman. One-two on A-Rod. The right-hander deals. Missed outside.
Well, late on a couple fastballs. Now you had the curveball just missing off the plate. See if Morrow, as he did in the last at bat, go with the fastball.
Here's the 2-2. Fouled it back.
Hanging breaking ball right here. Watch the middle of the plate here. Alex puts his foot down. Just misses it. Ball straight back.
And the 2-2 to Alex. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. And Alex is 0 for 3 tonight. And 9 for 41 since home run number 599. Got him on a breaking ball, but the Yankees get back 2 runs on Teixeira's home run. It's 8-4. certainly not out of it at 8-4 in the 6th inning. And they made up a couple of runs with the 2-run home run by Mark Teixeira. Now, Al, you watched A-Rod's at bats on TV last week. Now you're watching him. You think he's pressing a little bit?
I would think so. You know, look, let's not take anything away from Morrow. And as you said, Alex Rodriguez said that they pitched him, they attacked him. A couple pitches he's missing.
Hot shot up the middle. Not a base hit for Molina.
I think his best pitches to hit tonight so far have been breaking balls that have been middle of the plate. Now, whether you sit on it or look for it or, you know, however Alex's approach, and, you know, every hitter, not only Alex, will go into a bat, look for a certain pitch. It has to be, Michael, to play on and realize that you're talking about this every day. It's 11 games now, and you want to get it past. The light bulbs, everybody into it. They want to be part of history. Be hard not to think about it.
Here's Fred Lewis. This could be a double play. There's one. And there's two. They might have taken a little too much time there. Jeter really took his time on the relay, but they did get Lewis for the back end of the 4-6-3.
Well, he got it. Cano ended up getting a little charity hop. You see the big hop and that bad flip. Not terrible, but just slow enough. You see Lewis ended up pulling up a little bit. Didn't go all the way through the bag tags. Throw, aggressively throwing. Hey, you know what? Freddie Lewis is pretty fast. Let's see how much he gets him by.
Here's Escobar. 1-0. There's a ground ball to short. Jeter's there. And that'll do it here in the 6th. No runs a hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. 3 outs on 6 pitches for Mitre. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 8-4 Jays. Internet and phone. It's time for Fios. Ricky Romero goes for the Toronto Blue Jays, and Dustin Mosley, good start his first time out against the Indians. 1-0, 3.24. Our coverage will start at 6, and game time right around 7:08. Father and son at the game, something that you remember the rest of your life. Robinson Cano will lead off against Morrow in the bottom of the 6th inning. Count 1-0. Cano's 0 for 2.
Michael, you mentioned about do pitchers change their mindset when they get a big lead? Ryan or crap. Statman. Morrow has a 7+ ERA in 8 games where Toronto gives him 6 runs. You know, and maybe that's why Cito came out. You know, talking about, you know, go after the hitters, don't change the way you pitch. Whatever the advice would be, you know, why Cito would go out in a scenario where your club is up by 6 runs without the pitching coach sending that message. There was something pretty stern there. And that's pretty clear. You get a big lead, your offense scores you 6 runs or more, and your ERA is over 7.
The one pitcher that, whenever you talk to people around the Yankees, that they say was the best pitcher at pitching with the lead, David Wells. They said there was nobody better because he was pounding the strike zone all the time anyway, so he didn't really deviate that much from the way he pitched and was able to throw strike. He was a strike throwing machine. He was. People maybe lost sight of that with David with all the extracurricular stuff, but he could pitch.
Oh my God, could David pitch?
The 2-2 just missed.
You know, it almost seems obvious. You say, wow, of course, you have a big lead. Why, you know, we'd love to have that. You know, there is a certain mindset, especially with certain pitchers that have a repertoire where they want to continue. If they pitch backwards, meaning in fastball counts, they throw breaking balls or they use their changeup, and they start eliminating pitches. Well, here, 3-2 curveball. You know, and then it's, you know, then you get the 3-2 curveball. Molina puts it down. Boy, I'm up by 4. I just gave up 2 last inning. Better throw a strike. You know, it really does. It plays on your memory.
How about this stat to back up the Wells story? When his team scored 6 or more runs for him, you want to know what David Wells' record was?
50-0.
148-17.
Is that right?
That's almost 50-0.
Yeah.
That's 131 games over 500. Pretty amazing. Here's Posada. Scott Downs getting ready.
Now, he wasn't traded, huh, Michael?
They wanted a lot for him. A lot of teams wanted him, but they were asking for incredible prospects. I think from the Red Sox, they wanted Casey Kelly, who might be their top prospect in their system. The rumors we heard about the Yankees, they wanted Jesus Montero. I mean, the Yankees were willing to give up Jesus Montero for Cliff Lee, but not a short reliever.
Yep. Set up. A good year. Downs is having.
Strike 3, Posada down looking, so they retire him for the first time.
Boy, and an 0-2 count right there. That fastball had a little run to it, but pretty much right down the middle here. Now watch this here. Posada just can't pull the trigger. That ended up in the middle of the plate. I gotta believe he was looking for something else, or at least something maybe out of the zone where Morrow would expand.
There's Lance Berkman. He is 0 for 2. Foul back. Berkman 1 hit in 10 at bats as a Yankee. They got him right before the trade deadline. And the player that you would know that they gave up for him is Mark Melancon. Had some time with the Yankees. Hard throwing right-hander. Pitch outside. Now, in the 7-run 5th inning, we just find out that the 6 doubles that the Blue Jays hit tied an American League record, only done 2 other times in all of baseball history.
For the Yankees' sake, seeing the wrong history in it.
Lance Berkman, as Jack Curry mentioned earlier, native of Texas, went to college in Texas, played all of his professional ball in Texas. And he's always joked around about Andy Pettitte that Andy's not a true Texan because Andy spent the first 9 years of his life in Baton Rouge, and then his family moved to Texas. And Andy said Lance has some rule that you have to have 40 years in Texas to be a Texan, so Andy still has a way to go. And his bat still says Houston Astros. He hasn't got the Yankee shipment in there. The 1-2 fouled away. But Mark Teixeira probably put it best because Andy Pettitte and Lance Berkman are best friends. I mean, really, not just teammates say they're always good friends. They're best friends. But Mark Teixeira said, Lance Berkman's a switch-hitting Andy Pettitte. He said that's the only difference. He's a hitter and Andy's a pitcher. Check swing. Did he go? Did he go? No, he did not. Andy was a teammate of Berkman's 3 years in Houston. And during that time, Andy would always sing the praises of how great the Yankees were. And Berkman said, you're going back. I know it. You're not going to stay here. You're going to go back. And Andy did end up going back.
Well, that was part of the comfort in his decision-making. Lance Berkman had offers, I guess, having the no trade. The White Sox really put the package together where he had the option to agree to that trade to go to Chicago. And Andy was one of the biggest or main reason to go to New York.
That one gets past Molina as Cano will move to second. Now, a single makes it 8-5. As I said, it's early in the game, and this deficit is so far from insurmountable.
He just looked like a little two-seamer supposed to be on the outside part of the plate. Jose Molina not getting a good handle on that ball, skipping up about 59-foot fastball. Cito Gaston cannot be happy about what he's seeing at Amaro right now.
Berkman is supposedly going to stay at Andy's house when their families go back to Texas. And Berkman tells a story that when they were all Astro teammates, he would go out in Texas with Andy and Roger Clemens. And he said it was like going out with Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. People just went bonkers when the three of them were out.
Hyde in that group. Always go.
Three big guys, too.
Hyde in the sense of your celebrity. Go in pecking order.
3-2. Base hit up the middle. Vernon Wells fields. They are going to wave Cano home. Here's the throw. It's cut off. It's an RBI single for Berkman. His first ribby is a Yankee. And it's 8-5 Toronto.
Well, this ball is hit hard up the middle. Morrow watching out, ducking. This ball scolded. I'd see Robbie Thompson, third base coach here, that as quickly as this ball gets out to Vernon Wells, Robbie Thompson, obviously knowing Cano's speed, just was waving him immediately to see where the ball ends up dying in front of the pitcher's mound and end up Overbay coming over, realizing that there will not be a play. But this is Robbie Thompson being aggressive in a scenario of knowing the situation and also knowing your outfield arms. Good play all the way around.
Well, the Yankees have cut it to 3. Cito Gaston takes out Morrow, who'll go to the bullpen. You stay where you are. teams from conferences that have produced national champions, Heisman Trophy winners, and All-Americans. Tickets are on sale now. You can buy early and save at pinstripebowl.com, Ticketmaster.com, and all Ticketmaster outlets. Well, we told you that one of the people that might be most affected by the moves that the Yankees made before the trade deadline would be Curtis Granderson. Now, they bring in the left-hander Scott Downs, who's very effective against lefties, and he's very effective against Granderson. Granderson 0 for 8 against Downs. 6th inning of a game the Yankees are trailing by 3. You've got Austin Kearns now on the bench to play the outfield, and Joe Girardi is going to take Granderson out, and he's going to pinch hit Marcus Timms against Downs. So you know that Granderson is going to have to start playing better, or he's not going to be playing every day.
Yeah. Well, there's a scenario. And you have a tough left-hander here, legitimately. You would want to make your righty-lefty switch against a guy like Downs. Very good numbers. 33 hits in 43rd and a third innings. Very good season for Scott Downs.
Tim's hitting a .315 against lefties and .250 against righties. And Granderson hitting .214 against lefties this year. 8-5. Berkman is on first. Hot shot off of Downs, and it goes into right field. Berkman is going to go to third. Timms is going to stop right there, and the Yankees have runners on first and third with 1 out. Oh, he hit a rocket back to Downs.
And Timms wasted no time. He gets a fastball down the zone, little tail to it, hitting off the top right foot of Downs. See if he's okay here. Ball kicking to right field. Watch his ball hit. That skipped up. That saved Downs. It wasn't directly off the bat of Timms.
He says, I'm okay. And now he's got to face Brett Gardner. Gardner's glad to see Morrow out of the game. He struck out looking twice. So Girardi pushes the right button, taking Granderson out and pinch hitting Timms.
Not much of a history here for Brett Gardner. 0 for 2 lifetime against Downs. Going over the scout report. Different hitters and pitchers matchups. Hot, colds, cold zones.
So now first and third with 1 out. It's going to be tough to double up Gardner, so the Yankees might be able to squeeze a run here, even with a ground ball. Here's a strike. Gardner is 11 for 18 at getting the run in from third with less than 2 outs. That's 61%. And there's Lance Berkman at third. The 0-1. Hot shot off the glove of Downs. And they're going to come home. And they've got Berkman in a rundown. And he's heading for home. And he's tagged there. And Tim should have been at third. But he hustles back to second.
You know, that was a tough read, Michael, just to get the perspective we have up here. Now, Tim's not the fastest guy in the Yankee roster. Berkman doing exactly what you try to do once you get caught up. This is on contact. Ball hit off the pitcher. Reacts. He hears it home from Molina. Now Berkman's trying to prolong this now, but you see Robbie Thompson in the background saying, "Hold up right there." Yeah, that's a tough spot right there for where Timms is in this scenario. Ball back, got the run down. Molina running it back. Now you don't. That's dangerous right there, running home plate. Usually want to run him back to the previous base for obvious reason.
You know what, Al? Molina made a mistake. He should have ran him all the way back to third. This way, there was no chance that Timms could go to third. You score that 1-2-5 on the fielder's choice, and here's Jeter. Jeter is 6 for 9 lifetime against Downs. And there's a strike. There's Marcus Timms. You can see he's uncertain what he should do. Robbie Thompson wants him to head to third, but he doesn't do it. And takes the safe route of staying at third, or staying at second. The 0-1. 0-2. Now, I understand that the Blue Jays want a lot for a good pitcher like Downs, but he's a free agent at the end of this year. They'd be hard-pressed to make a run at this. I guess they have a rule in their front office not going to deal with any team within their division to help them out unless they really get a top-flight package. I think that's silly. If you can get a good package, and for a pitcher that might not be with you next year, but the Blue Jays decided not to go that route, so now they have a, Scott Downs, who probably wouldn't get through waivers because he doesn't make that much money. He's probably with them the rest of the year. The 0-2. Grounded. Foul.
Well, Alex Anthopoulos, the new general manager for the Blue Jays, his thinking is, Michael, that if you don't give me somebody comparable to a first-round compensation pick, he believes that the year he's having, he's going to be a Type A free agent, right, along even with Jason Frazier, who had some interest, right, another reliever for the Blue Jays, that they'll leave as Type A free agents and we'll get a first-rounder. So give me at least that value, and I guess they weren't getting it. They certainly were asking for the move.
The 0-2 just missed outside. And a Type A free agent would get them 2 early round draft picks. But they were asking for, 2 of the best prospects in baseball from the Yankees and the Red Sox. The 1-2 grounded towards second. Hill will make the play, and that'll do it. But the Yankees get 1 run closer, and they do it with one of the newest Yankees using an old bat, Lance Berkman, like the old Lance Berkman, his first RBIs in two ribbies, a double and a run scored. Vernon Wells 2 for 3, a home run solo shot, a double, 2 ribbies, 2 runs scored. Aaron Hill 2 for 3, Travis Snyder 2 for 3, both doubles in that 7-run 5th inning, and a 2-run home run by Edwin Encarnacion. Molina with a single, and that's what the Blue Jays have done over the first 6. We head to the 7th. It is 8-5 Blue Jays over the Yankees on the Verizon Wireless scoreboard. God bless you. My little kid sneezed. And the new pitcher for the Yankees is David Robertson. Count 0-1.
Boy, that's the pitch that Robertson really has mastered it after a rough first start since May 16th. The ERA at low 2s, 2.33. Very good.
Foul back. Robertson's last 10 appearances have been scoreless. And that's why his ERA continues to drop. 10 and a third innings over his last 10, 5 hits, 4 walks, and 15 strikeouts.
You know, it says a lot, Michael, for a young kid, pitcher, 24 years old, for him to maintain. Painted fastball inside, great pitch.
And strike 3 on the inside corner. Now let's check out things with Bob Lorenz back in our studio. Robert. Thank you, Bob. Boy, Fausto Carmona pitched so poorly against the Yankees last week and now turning in a decent performance against the Red Sox as Wells takes a strike against Robertson. So 2 more home runs tonight for the Blue Jays, 1 by Wells and 1 by Encarnacion. So they have a major league leading 93 home runs. Check that. No. 163 home runs. Count 1 and 2. They have 91 at home and 72 on the road.
Yeah, their home and away splits are really stark in how much better of a team they hit at Rogers Center. I get back to Robertson, Michael. Just, you know, as much as he struggled, and we're talking about the ERA coming down and how well he's pitched since the middle of May, to maintain still the right mindset, obviously getting a lot of confidence from the manager and Joe Girardi and Dave Island to keep believing in yourself, because that's a hard thing for a young player to, when you're struggling, doubt creeps in your mind, certainly.
Nice play by Alex Rodriguez, and he gets the hustling Wells for the second out. Alex went a long way to the glove side and then did the 360.
A little shortstop pirouette, getting some range there out of Alex Rodriguez, the hot corner, and the yes-mo, watching that ball go into his glove, spinning around, making sure that his feet are underneath him. Nice play, good range.
Quick defensive update for the Yankees. Marcus Tim stays in the game in left, and Gardner moves from left to center. Here's Overbay as Jeter shifts up the middle. And a strike. Robertson throwing strikes, 91-92. Good breaking ball. That's his formula for success. Another strike. Poured him in there.
Well, change up, fastball curve. He has thrown a cutter, which I'm sure he's been sitting there with Mariano Rivera trying to tinker around with different grips. 4 pitches right now for David Robertson.
The 0-2 outside 1 and 2. The 1-2. 2-2. 8-10-0 for the Blue Jays and 5-8-0 for the Yankees. We're on the top of the 7th. First game of a homestand for the Yankees. That will have 7 games being played. 3 against the Blue Jays and 4 against the Red Sox. And Thursday's an off day. The 2-2. Missed outside.
Ooh. Lyle Overbay getting a good look at the curveball here. Makes me think that he's either sitting off speed or just really allowing the ball to track longer. Previous pitch was about that close. That ball is about 6 inches outside. Good call from Mike Everett, home plate umpire.
And he works a walk. A.J. Burnett started for the Yankees and looked pretty good through 4, allowing just 1 run. And then it all fell apart in the 5th when he gave up 7 runs. They turned it over to Sergio Mitre, who worked the scoreless sixth. Also got the final out of the fifth, and now David Robertson here in the seventh. Here's Aaron Hill. Single, a double, and a ground ball short. Count 0-1. And the Yankee lefty, Boone Logan, getting ready. The first base runner that Robertson has allowed in 5 appearances. That's how dominant he's been. So a 2-out walk to Overbay.
Big no-no, certainly in any game, but the 2-out walk of, as a reliever especially, he's been doing such a good job pounding the strike zone, throwing strikes. Well, the 4 batters, he's thrown first pitch strike to all 4. Aaron Hill's a guy that very aggressive, not having the year that he certainly had last year, but he swings at a lot of pitches out of the zone.
The 2-1. 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Fouled away. Looks like another sellout crowd here at the ballpark. If not a sellout, then certainly close. We haven't gotten the official number yet, but people want to be in the ballpark. But Alex, it's a 600. Played the 3 sellout crowds in St. Pete over the weekend. 2-2. And that's the first time that ever happened in the history of that team. 3 straight sellouts in the regular season.
Wow. Well, you get a chance to see history. Certainly, 6 others have done what Alex will eventually do. For the sake of the fans tonight, they certainly hope it's going to be here.
And you know, all the people that have tickets for tomorrow that are not here tonight, they're rooting against me. The 2-2. Strike 3. Hill down looking. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left at the end of 6.5 innings of play. It's time for the 7th inning stretch here at Yankee Stadium, and it's Toronto Blue Jays 8, the Yankees 5, but we'll stay right here and honor America in the Bronx.
Silent prayer.
The seventh inning, Yankees trying to at least tie this up before they can move ahead. Let's take a look at the Yankees in-game box score, which is brought to you by McDonald's. Jeter 2 for 4, a home run for Swisher, a home run for Teixeira, no home runs for A-Rod. Posada 2 for 3, 1 for 3 for Berkman, his first Yankee RBI, his second Yankee hit, and a walk to Granderson. And Marcus Timms pinch hit for Granderson and picked up a single. So now we go to the bottom of the seventh. Swisher, Teixeira, and A-Rod against Downs. Pitch way outside. Verizon Wireless scoreboard 8-5 at Toronto.
Sorry, Michael. Really no bias lefty-righty this year. Swisher 303 against left-handers, 298 coming into today's game.
Tied him up on that one.
Power certainly not the same against lefties, especially here at the stadium. 3 home runs against left-handers, 17 against right-handers. 18. His first at bat, home run off Morrow.
Jason Frazier warming up. Ground ball to second. Gobbled up by Hill. 1 away.
You know, we were talking about the possibility of the trade for Scott Downs, or you saw Frazier warming up. They had some interest. Certainly Batista had a lot of interest in him. There's no reason to trade him. They can lock him up, or not lock him up, but the ability for him to be arbitration eligible. But Alex Anthopoulos, Michael, you know, his mindset is not to go out and get kind of middle of the road or veteran players that are kind of on the twilight of their career. He's kind of modeling it after what the Tampa Bay Rays have done to get younger and truly more athletic players. And he's willing, as he did with Downs, and who knows whether he gets through waivers or not. In an August trade, there's a possibility. Not compromising and trying to get younger and top prospects as they did. You know, look, when they traded Halladay, I think most people thought that this team was going to be battling out with the Orioles for last place. This is a big surprise. Somewhat of a big surprise in baseball.
I bet you Nicholas doesn't get through waivers.
He won't get through. Because of what, 2 points?
No, it's just too many teams will block it. Too many teams want him. Unless somebody claims him, and then the Blue Jays could make a deal with that team. But I don't see him getting through 29 other teams. Here's Alex Rodriguez. He's tried 3 times tonight for number 600. And he grounded to short and struck out twice. So Alex is now 9 for 41 since he last hit a home run, and that was here at the stadium. A couple of Thursdays ago, he hit one over the right field wall against the Kansas City Royals, and he has been looking for number 600 since then. A-Rod is 7 for 16 with 1 home run against Downs. And Downs deals inside. This is the list he's trying to join. There are 6 men on that list, 6 men in the history of this great game that have hit 600 or more home runs. Alex 1 away from membership in that club. The 1-0. 2-0. Alex Rodriguez, first-round draft pick for the Mariners. His first home run against Tom Gordon of the Kansas City Royals. There have been a lot of home runs since. The 2-0. There's a strike. 2-1. He went from Seattle to Texas and then traded to the Yankees, moved from shortstop to third base, won a World Series last year, had an unbelievable postseason. Now looking for this milestone home run. The 2-1. Grounded to third. Encarnacion. And that will do it as the Yankees go down in order against Downs. 1, 2, 3. And we go to the 8th. It's 8-5 Jays. official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees. We go to the 8th inning here at the stadium. First game of a 3-game set between the Yankees and the Blue Jays, and a new Yankee pitcher, 4th one of the night, Boone Logan. And Boone Logan has done a nice job for the Yankees with Damaso Marte on the DL. Boone Logan has really stepped into that void, left-hander in the bullpen. Thrown strikes, been aggressive, challenged hitters, and also throws very, very hard.
Yeah, I remember when he first came over, I think we were doing the game, was hit some 98s, and velocity was definitely not a problem with Boone Logan. But as you say, Michael, throwing strikes, getting ahead, I think it's school out there in that bullpen during the night. Any reliever gets an opportunity to pick the brain of Mariano Rivera, you do it.
Now, Al, your last days as a big leaguer, you were in the Yankee bullpen as their left-hander. Did you talk to Mo a lot?
Yeah, you know what? I did. And he's such a gentleman. And you come up to him and you ask him. I threw a cutter. He certainly has perfected it better than I ever did. Kind of compared. I wanted to see how he held it, where he held it off center. The ball was a little different than the way I threw it. The mindset in the cutter. Because really, watching these guys evolve and seeing certainly what David Robertson just came in with, threw a couple cutters, and noticed last year with Phil Hughes, he came up with a cutter. I know when I was there, Tanya and Sturts was always working with Mariano on his cutter and delivery. It's really like another pitching coach. It says a lot, Michael, for Dave Island, obviously, to have a guy with, future Hall of Famer and the great presence of Mariano to let him be kind of a third pitching coach.
And that he's willing to do it is something, too. A lot of guys aren't willing to share their secrets. I was reading the story the other day, I think it was in ESPN, the magazine, where Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback of the Packers, he said Brett Favre never helped him one bit when Favre was the starter. He hardly talked to him. So some guys are very protective of their place. Mariano, if you're going to come take my job, here's the info.
You know what? To me, that's a bad teammate. If you have somebody, especially the experience and a veteran guy that's had success, it's almost a duty, I think, to impart some of your knowledge. Especially if it's being sought out. I mean, there's some guys who either A, are reluctant because they're nervous to talk about it, or maybe they're just not, they don't have the aptitude to want to learn or make the adjustment and change. I think that's the part of every great staff. You see with the Yankee rotation now, they all sit in the dugout, they're talking about pitching. Hey, what'd you do? How'd you pitch this guy? You learn so much by just talking to your teammates. Unfortunately, there's some players that they just don't talk as much. You miss out. I miss that part, Michael, of not only the camaraderie, in the clubhouse or on planes and buses. You go, Pettit talking to CC. You got Javier Vasquez, and, it's certainly banter about whatever's going on during the game, and you can pick up a lot.
3-2 count on Snyder. And he fouls it back. Snyder, 2 doubles in the 5th inning. And before Snyder had done it tonight, only 2 Blue Jays had ever hit 2 doubles in 1 inning, and it happened in the same inning. Otto Velez and Dave McKay did it back in 1978 in the 2nd inning against the Orioles. Otto Velez, a former Yankee.
Was that their first year, 78?
I think 77 was.
Sorry, Mike.
I think 77 was.
But Dave McKay, I know he was on the first team that was snowed, right? Their opening day at the exhibition stadium.
Well, let me give a really good answer that people always like. I don't know. You'll have to check.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's okay.
I'd say 77. I'm right. The 3-2. Swing and a miss. Got him. 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Tonight, throughout the Yankees season on Yes, we're asking you to vote along with us for the Chevy Play of the Game. Text your vote to 58772, or you can vote online at yesnetwork.com. Tonight's candidates are number 1, Vernon Wells, number 2, Edwin Encarnacion, number 3, Jose Bautista, and number 4, Mark Teixeira. Vote now. Make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply.
It was 1977. It was against the White Sox, and I do remember that, the highlight of it being a snow day. Bill Singer was the pitcher.
That was the first game ever.
Yes.
Pitch outside to Encarnacion. Dave McKay, the longtime first base coach for Tony La Russa, first with the A's and now with the St. Louis Cardinals. The 1-0. 2-0. (8-5). Blue Jays lead the Yankees. Most of the damage against the Yankees in the 5th inning. 7 runs by the Jays against A.J. Burnett. And 3-0 on Edwin Encarnacion. Russ Salzberg at the game. What's up, Russ? Now, you see the guy next to him out? The 2 guys next to him?
Mitch?
Well, Mitch Modell of Modell's. And that guy, the guy in the beard, he's the guy who started Noble, Drew Neil Point.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you got the sports store and restaurants covered.
Everything covered. There's a strike. Here's the 3-2. Foul back. You ever go to Nobu?
Love it.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
Nice.
you got a Midtown Nobu now.
I know. I've been there.
See, I don't see you eating that.
They have Kobe steak.
Okay. But I know you're not doing the raw fish.
No. I don't even like it cooked. Why would I like it raw? And here's a 3-2. Oh, inside. And Encarnacion walks with 1 out. Hey, tomorrow night the Yankees play Game 2 of the series against the Blue Jays, and complete coverage will start at 6 with batting practice today, presented by Audi, and then followed by the Tri-State Ford pregame. Then Al Leiter and I are back with the call. The Blue Jays and the Yankees tomorrow at 6, and it's only on Yes. That's Boone Logan's first walk since June 26th, and that gets Dave Island to the phone. And Molina fouls it away. Molina came to Dunedin, which is the spring training home of the Blue Jays. He had to make the team. He was not signed to a 25-man roster spot. He was a non-roster player, and he was about 25 pounds lighter than he was last year with the Yankees, and he's kept a lot of that weight off. 36 years old. Always a good catch and throw guy. Calls a great game. Pitchers really trust him.
Yeah, Cito has leaned on him to allow him to be the veteran presence of not only with all of the hitters, but mostly with the pitching staff, and he's enjoyed that part of it. And he's really enjoyed his time in Toronto for as much as he would have loved to have stayed in New York. This has been a good summer and a good experience for him.
There's a strike.
All time, Mike Everett's been calling that high pitch, and that ball probably knee high. Wanted to let Mike Everett, the home plate umpire, thought it was low.
The 0-2 inside.
Boone Logan, fastball, slider, occasional changeup. Threw 2 changeups to Edwin Encarnacion, end up walking him on a fastball. Utilizing 3 pitches.
1-2. Inside, making him skip rope. Encarnacion heads back. Well, they officially announced the attendance. 47,034. 47,034.
No sellout.
They don't call it a sellout. It's weird because some 47s are, and then this one's not called a sellout. The 2-2. High fly ball, right center. Gardner is there, and he makes the play. For the second out, you know, you talked about that game in the snow in 1977. Yeah. Josh Isaac in our tape room went all the way back and found it.
Look at that, huh? Well, look at the old exhibition stadium. Love that place.
With mukluks on.
Bill Singer. How about that? Wow. Became famous because long time minor league coach, Doug Hall, manager.
When you first went to the Blue Jays, it was still in exhibition, right?
And then about a month or 2 later, they opened up mid-season against the Brewers at Skydome, which is now Rogers Center.
So technically, Skydome is the house that Al built. You got there and they opened the place.
Right. Yeah. I'll tell you, that was a good time. I was just talking to Jerry Howard, the longtime radio announcer for the Blue Jays, and just reminiscing a little bit about that period of time the Blue Jays run. It's a good organization that was. It was kind of the blueprint, really, at that time, the late 80s, early 90s for most organizations. Any team, a couple World Series. Well, the organization hasn't seen that in many years, really since 95, probably the last competitive year.
Fred Lewis, 1 for 3 and hit by a pitch. The 2-0. Foul back.
You know, I was in the clubhouse with Jack Curry, and you see guys hanging out, they'll listen to music and watch whatever. And I had to make reference to Fred Lewis. He watches cartoons, and it was SpongeBob.
Right.
And I just had to go. I said, Fred, how late I'm doing the Yankee games, and is this your normal pregame? And he could have been nicer. Yeah, I try to distract myself and not think about the game. He watches cartoons. So that was a first.
The 2-1. So it's not like something like hip, like Family Guy or Simpsons. It's SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yeah, SpongeBob.
Fun.
Yeah, cool. Whatever it takes. I just, he had his little computer and, he's watching a cartoon.
It's amazing the money that Yes spends sending you and Jack Curry into the clubhouse to find stuff out. And that's what you unearthed, that Fred Lewis
I wasn't
going to
use
SpongeBob.
it. And I was talking to Jack, and I'm thinking, do I mention, because it's obvious he wouldn't hide it. He was sitting right in front of his locker with his computer watching SpongeBob. And I thought it was kind of, I've never seen that in the 23 years that I played, or professionally.
The 2-2. They are making Logan work. Well, the Rays won their game against the Twins 4-2, first game of a 4-game set. So now they pull to within a half game of the Yankees. And if the Yankees don't come back in this one, there's going to be a tie atop the American League East. Cleveland leads Boston 6-2. That's in the bottom of the 8th inning at Fenway Park. So as soon as that one becomes final, we'll get it to you. And if it's not final by the time the game ends, obviously Bob Lorenz will have it on the WB Mason postgame show. The 2-2. Well, he is getting Logan's pitch count up. Logan's now thrown 28 pitches. It's the most that he's thrown since June 26, when he threw 38 in LA against the Dodgers.
Fastball, slider. This is one of those scenarios, Michael, where when you're two-pitch pitcher, most relievers are. You come in, you have your fastball, and then you put away pitch, just to take a little off. To trust whether it's your breaking ball or your fastball, just to change speeds off of whatever that number is. Fastball away here.
2-2. 94 miles an hour, foul back. So motivated by a stirring episode of SpongeBob, Fred Lewis hanging in there against Boone Logan. The 2-2. That one is chopped Alex Rodriguez. Going to go across the diamond, and they get Lewis as Logan works a scoreless 8th inning. Blue Jays lead 1. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 8-5 Toronto. The Joe Girardi Show, as the skipper gives his thoughts on this series with the Blue Jays. Then Sunday, it's an all-new episode as Joe breaks down the weekend series with Boston. The Joe Girardi Show, tonight after the postgame, and all-new Sunday at 7:30 on Yes. Yankees running out of time as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. And you see the numbers on Jason Frazier.
Well, part of that righty-lefty tandem for the Blue Jays. We just saw Scott Downs, Jason Frazier. Occasionally gets an opportunity to save some games.
43 strikeouts and 40 in the third.
Very good. Anytime you strike out an inning is a respectable strike to innings ratio.
There's a strike to Cano. You know, interesting note, since Alex hit his 599th home run, Teixeira's had 4 home runs immediately in front of him, and Cano has hit 3 home runs immediately after him. So they've given him the protection before and behind, but they have not been able to get him the home run.
Good changeup from Frazier. Getting Robinson Cano out in front.
Bottom of the 8th inning now in Boston. Cleveland leads the Red Sox 6-5. Red Sox still batting. Two and two.
Cleveland has played better since the trades. Obviously, Austin Kern and Kerry Wood here. Johnny Peralta going to the Indians.
And Cano has worked the count full. Such a different player than a couple of years ago as David Percy, one of the 3 left-handers in the bullpen. He gets ready. Very rarely would he work the count like that, take pitches close, but his eye is so much better, so much more discerning. And that was something that Kevin Long preached to him. Sky to left field. Snyder's there and makes the play. So Cano is 0 for 3 tonight with a walk and a run scored.
You know, you mentioned about Cano. It certainly locked in a great hitter. And I think that's one of the parts of every young hitter, especially as aggressive as a Robinson Cano, is that you eventually realize that taking pitches, trusting the fact that you can hit with 2 strikes, you know, take your walks, you're not swinging from the on-deck circle. Certainly Robinson Cano is evolved into that kind of player.
Posada singled in the 2nd, doubled in the 4th, and then struck out looking in the 6th. Strike, 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
Good at bats tonight from Jorge Posada, just taking the pitches that are just off the plate. 2 for 3 with 1 strikeout. Ball just on the inside part of the plate for a ball.
Posada hitting .331 here at Yankee Stadium and just .207 on the road. And he's 2 for 3 tonight, as we mentioned.
Yeah, I had mentioned the home road splits to Kevin Long, and you know his rationale was, wow, most hitters like to hit at home. You get to get here early, you can get more hitting in. On the road, you may get 45 minutes in the cage. If you get an opportunity to bat early, you got to come out much earlier so that the other team can get their early BP in. Just get more work in.
They go to the top of the 9th at Fenway, and Cleveland leads 6-5. Tampa Bay has already beaten Minnesota to move to within a half of the Yanks. The 2-2. Driven out the other way. Snyder is there. 2 outs. Posada upset with himself.
Yeah, the previous pitch, Jason Frazier threw an excellent changeup. Almost had a split finger-like effect, and then that fastball just ended up beating him where he couldn't get the barrel out soon enough. A little lazy fly ball to the left. Watch this, the last pitch here. Fastball up and away, kind of an emergency hack. You see, doesn't really get through it. Being a little bit mindful of a very good changeup. Frazier will throw this split finger. You see his grip. His fingers are split. It's a diving down effect.
Berkman with his first RBI as a Yankee in the 6th inning. A laser-like single to center field to drive in Robinson Cano. And there's that Houston Astros bat.
Ooh, grain on that. It's a beautiful bat. Wider the grain, the better the bat. better than Wood.
Two-one pitch. Check the swing. Did he go? No, he did not. Said Andy Fletcher, the third base ump.
It keeps missing in on the inside part of the plate to Lance Berkman and the lefties. He did the same thing with Posada and then throws that little split finger down the way. He's up by 3 runs. Let's see if he attacks the zone with a fastball here against Berkman.
And Berkman works a walk. Berkman's always been a good on-base guy, and that was one of the things that attracted the Yankees to him. Or attracted him to the Yankees. Despite having an off-season, he was .370 on-base percentage guy. Here's Marcus Timms, who pinch hit a single in the 6th inning off the foot of Scott Downs, and that was pinch hitting for Curtis Granderson. And a strike.
Only 2 at-bats against Frazier. Marcus Timms 1 for 2. His righty-lefty split. Better against left-handers. 315, 250 against the right-hander.
Pitch outside. Timms 10 for 40 against right-handers with 2 home runs. Hot shot and a base hit.
Got a little slider middle of the plate. Down the middle, up in the zone. Marcus Timms getting a good pass at this ball right here. Crushes this ball past the third baseman, Encarnacion.
There's Brett Gardner.
Yeah, every chance at hitter Marcus Timms of righty lefty splits, and talk about him not getting maybe a pinch hit here or there against left-handers. You get the chance to hit against right-handers. The more and more you do at bats like that, you get better opportunities to keep facing those right-handers.
So Cito Gaston with the long walk out. Cito said this is his last year. He's going to retire at the end of the season. He has not made any move toward the bullpen. Now he does. He calls on the left-hander. Now, Joe Girardi can do something here as David Percy comes in. Do you send up Austin Kearns to pinch hit for Brett Gardner? He has a bat. Let's see if he follows through with that move. Stick around. He's a tying run. and take a look around the rest of the majors. Plus, hear the team's reaction from the clubhouse and Joe Girardi's post-game press conference. It's all later on the WB Mason post-game, only on Yes. So Austin Kearns is going to pinch hit for Brett Gardner. Now let's weigh what Cito Gaston just did. If he keeps in, when you see the numbers here on Percy, they're very good over 20 games. If he keeps in Frazier, then he's going to face Gardner, who is less of a home run threat than Kearns, but he has to play it to the smaller part of the ballpark. This way, he brings in Percy, and Girardi answers with Kearns. Did Cito make the right move?
Well, we'll find out. I agree with you. Kearns certainly has more power, but I think you mentioned one little caveat in that, Michael. It's a lot easier to go to right field here at the stadium than it is to left field. Yes, Kearns has more power. You looked at the numbers at Percy, very impressive. See how it plays out. I think he just forced the move.
How about this stat, though? Gardner against lefties this year is 25 for 95 with 2 home runs. Kearns against lefties, 25 for 100 with 2 home runs. But he's more of a prototypical home run type of hitter. And he has 8 on the year. Now he steps in as the tying run. One of the 3 newest Yankees, Berkman, Kearns, and Kerry Wood. And Percy deals inside.
Just watching the Blue Jay hitters, and there's just got a report generally over how a staff will pitch against the lineup, and they have pounded the inside part of the plate, whether it was Morrow, the starter, or Downs. These guys are coming in on the right-handers. He's in the driver's seat right now. He got 2 good looks at fastballs inside on the inside part of the plate. Look for something out over and give it a good pass.
That's what Kearns has done as a pinch hitter in his career. 14 for 52 with 2 home runs. Has not pinch hit this year. The 2-0. Grip foul. Oh, he crushed that one. Just a little too quick. Wow.
Watch the bat speed and then has follow through. Watch his bat against his back. This is an aggressive swing right here. Watch his finish. Well, just based on that, Michael, and what a swing, gets it out in front. 92-mile-an-hour fastball from Percy, pulling it like that. See him here pull the string possibly from Percy. A little changeup or a breaking ball.
Oh, they gave him that strike on the outside corner, and Molina wants to talk with Percy.
Well, he's given him multiple signs, and you saw Molina set up on the inside part of the plate. He's looking for maybe a slider, and this looks like it ends up being a changeup. It's 85 miles an hour, but you know what? He's setting up inside. Yeah, outside the corner.
Yeah. Usually umpires see the catcher reach like that. They don't give him the strike, but he called the strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Yankees down by 3. Bottom of the 8th. Austin Kearns pinch hitting. And a nice block there by Molina. Now, that helps the Yankees because you get an extra base hit. 2 runs are going to score automatically because both runners will go on the 3-2 with 2 outs.
So you got that. Yeah, watch for the inside move. This is just usually a little swing move to make sure that the runners aren't going on the first leg kick. First movement of Percy's leg kick.
Berkman from second. Timms from first. And another conference between Molina and Percy.
Well, you see, they'll have different signs for each reliever. And Molina wants to make sure, obviously here in a tight ball game, 8th inning, you want to make sure as a catcher-pitcher you're on the same page. Berkman is at second now for multiple pitches. Maybe they can go out, not only to make sure to be on the same page, but maybe change the signs.
The 3-2. Grounded foul, they'll do it again. Runners were going. So a game that was 8-2 after 4.5 certainly has had some drama as the Yankees have managed to bring the time run to the plate here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And still lurking for a possible 9th inning at bat, Alex Rodriguez. Brett Gardner now becomes a spectator. Nick Swisher has had a 2-run home run tonight. That was in the first inning. 3-2. Strike three. Kearns is down looking. One back door just nipped the outside corner, and Cito Gaston won that series of moves. No runs a hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. Let's go to the 9th inning. It did clip the outside corner. Yankees down by 3. A job at Chamberlain to pitch the 9th inning, but they have a different outfield behind Chamberlain. Austin Kearns, who pinch hit for Gardner, goes to left. Swisher is going to go from right to center. And then Timms, who was in left, is going to move over to right. So it's not your best defensive alignment, but they tried to get it done offensively, and now Chamberlain will try to get it done on the mound. He had 2 strong innings in Tampa against the Rays, looked very good, and here is that outing on Friday.
Yeah, that was 2 perfect innings. He did look very good. 3 strikeouts, making his team lead a 45th appearance. His breaking ball was very crisp and aggressive with his fastball in the zone. Good outing for Jabba Chamberlain on Friday night.
There's a breaking ball, starts him off with a strike. Last 7 games for Jabba, the previous 5, 6 innings, 12 hits. Has he straightened himself out? Last 2, 2 2/3, no hits. And no runs either. Bunted and foul behind the screen. Now, if you're wondering why Swisher in center and not Kearns, well, Kearns has played 68 games in his career in center field, and Swisher has played 131 games in center field. So certainly more experience out there. That's why they played it that way. Strike 3, Escobar down looking, and he thought that was too far outside. So Jabba using his breaking ball effectively.
Yeah, good breaking ball to start. It's almost got a little curveball spin, a little bit north and south. Ooh, showing up the home plate umpire there. Let's see. Looks like it's off the plate a little bit. Not from Mike Everett, it wasn't.
Bautista steps out. Pitch inside at 95. Count 2-0. Kevin Gregg will try to close it in the bottom of the ninth. Taking all the way, and he took a slider outside. Threw a slider on 2-0.
Yeah, and you know, Michael, been there where you're going to throw a 2-0 slider. You got a guy leading baseball in home runs, and you see he's taken, and all you have to do is throw for a strike. Yep, a little low.
There's a strike. Strange, the guy leading the major leagues in home runs clearly seems as if he's trying to work a walk.
Well, I think the 2-0 is just, you know, different guys have ways of taking a pitch. Imagine him wanting to take a walk.
And he does take a walk. That fastball was 96 miles an hour.
Well, if you put the line right now of pitchers around the game, Mike Everett's strike zone tonight was more on the higher part of the zone. Several pitches on both sides. It seemed like knee-high fastballs were called balls.
There's Vernon Wells. It'll be the top of the order for the Yankees in the bottom of the ninth inning. It's over at Fenway Park. The Indians beat the Red Sox 6-5. The 0-1. Ooh, fastball at 97 right by Wells.
Out again. Good buy-in. Wow.
The presence of Kerry Wood, the effectiveness of Robertson. Does that push Java to another level? Make him throw a little bit harder. So much of this game is mental. So much is based on confidence. There's Kerry Wood, sporting pinstripes for the first time. Yankee pinstripes. Cubs have pinstripes. The 0-2. Done with the slider for the second out. So Wells swings and misses. Yankees Baseball on Gas is brought to you in part by Pepsi. The Yankees are competing for a $200,000 Pepsi Refresh grant. Vote today at MLB.com/Pepsi Refresh. By the 2010 Honda Clearance, it's the only thing from Honda that won't last. And by Avis, the official rental car company of the New York Yankees. Here's Lyle Overbay with a runner on first and one out. 2 outs now. Pitch outside, 1-0.
Yeah, I think it does, Mike. I think for Java Chamberlain, as up and down this year has been, and he's shown moments of greatness and then struggling. Yes, when you hear about either trade rumors or they're bringing in help, and now Robertson getting more meaningful innings, it should. If what it takes to want to be great and pride and all that, there's no question about it. He's got to know that they're looking for help to support the bullpen.
Overbay 5 for 12. That's 417 lifetime against Chamberlain. It's 8-5. Blue Jays over the Yankees. Jeter, Swisher, Teixeira in the ninth inning. And if anybody gets on, A-Rod. Soft throw over to first.
Yeah, I just don't see Batista. There's a couple throws over to first base. He's got 4 stolen bases. Batista does with 2 caught stealing. I really think that this is a running moment.
On deck, Aaron Hill. Chopped to second. The Yankee bullpen's done a very nice job. Now it's up to the offense to try to come back. Bottom of the ninth inning. Will Alex Rodriguez get a swing? Somebody has to get on. They need a rally.
Runs in the last 4 games. He had one Friday night and Saturday down in Tampa. The Land Rover drive of the game.
And Nick is second up this inning. And he'll face Kevin Gregg, the closer. 23 saves for Gregg. 33 hits in 40 and 2/3 innings. Obviously the 22 walks more than he would want, but 43 strikeouts.
Yeah, that's been a nice sign for the Blue Jays. Ended up being a solid closer for the Jays. Talked about also another guy that was in some trade talks. Blue Jays ended up holding on to all 3 of their top relievers.
Gregg, 10 of his last 11 appearances have been scoreless. Against the Yankees, 7 games, 4.50 ERA. Strike. He's pitched 14 innings against the Yankees, 19 hits, 7 runs, 8 walks, and 23 strikeouts. And this is what Jeter has done against Gregg, 2 hits and 6 at-bats. Jeter 2 for 4 tonight with 2 singles and 2 runs scored. Count 1-1. Hot shot to short. Gobbled up there by Yunel Escobar. And 1 out.
Batting for the Yankees, center fielder, number 33, Nick Swisher.
And that's going to bring up Nick Swisher. Swisher, 2-run home run in the first. We just showed you that with the drive of the game. Since then, grounded out sharply to first, flied out to right, and grounded out to second. Brandon Morrow would get the win if Gregg does the job, but it's been a group effort. This would be the 4th reliever used by Cito Gaston. Driven deep to right. There it goes. See ya. A long home run for Nick Swisher. His 2nd of the night. Toronto now leads 8-6. Swisher with 4 home runs in 4 games.
Well, maybe 2 drives of the game right there. Certainly Swisher getting all of that deep in the second deck. 22 home runs on the year. You talk about a guy that really has been locked in for the most part. Making the All-Star team. 16th multi-career home run game for Swisher. Knew it right off the bat. This ball was a bomb right here. Mid-second deck.
That means A-Rod's going to get an at-bat, but the Yankees are worried about trying to win this game as Teixeira takes a pitch outside. Teixeira with a 2-run home run in this game. That was in the 5th inning. And the count 2-0. Did that scare him away from the strike zone for a moment as Molina goes out and talks?
Well, you know when you throw a mistake, and this ball here at the stadium doesn't matter. This ball was well struck. Boy, I thought I'd even have a shot at nipping that upper deck. Could be a little bit. Especially with a left-handed power guy to share. Start thinking about being careful squeezing that baseball. 2-0 count to share. Locked in with his pitch. Get a good fastball up out of the plate.
Well, Teixeira and Swisher are now tied for the Yankee team lead in home runs with 22 apiece. Alex with 16. And the count levels at 2-2. Yankees need one more base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. And the pitch struck him out. So that brings up Alex needing to get on base to keep the game alive. And they bring in the specially marked baseballs.
Number 13, Alex Rodriguez.
Well, they've said it over and over again. The best thing for Alex is to come up in a situation where he has to get a base hit, where he's not thinking home run. He just wants to take the ball up the middle, and then if he hits the ball well, then it could go out. Alex 0 for 4 tonight, 9 for his last 42 since his last home run. He's sitting at 599, looking for his 600th. Greg Deals outside. 3 for 8 against Greg with 1 home run. Alex hitless in his last 14 at-bats, and he's 3 for his last 29. And the 1-0. And he's not going to do it tonight. There's a ground ball to Escobar, and that will do it for the Yankees as they lose this one 8-6 to the Blue Jays. In the 9th inning, 1 run on Swisher's homer. No errors and nobody left on base, and a bad night for Alex as he goes 0 for 5 in the losing cause. Stick around for the postgame show to find out who's tonight's Chevy player of the game. So each team with 10 hits, but the Blue Jays, because of that 7-run 5th inning, they hold on. They beat the Yankees 8-6. We'll be back.